All right, it says here the little red light is on, so let's get this show on the road. Good morning. It's Monday. It's August 25th, 8/25/25. Nice to have you here from Lake Wissota on this Monday morning. Coming up, we'll talk about a couple of folks. Actually, we'll talk to a couple of folks about the Wisconsin governor's race next year and what they have to say about the qualities that they want to see in Wisconsin's next governor, and especially the next Democratic nominee for governor. Jon Shelton is the president of AFT-Wisconsin, the educators union, and State Representative Francesca Hong from Madison has been traveling outside of Madison quite a bit lately. Maybe she's exploring a run for governor. We'll talk to her about that. We'll talk to Jon Shelton about the race as well. We'll talk about fake electors. Honestly, how is this still a thing? What is taking so damn long? There was a development in the Wisconsin case. It wasn't a big deal, but it was just a reminder that this thing is still dragging and enabled certain people to undermine the election and yet win the next one. And to that end, Vice President JD Vance gives the U.S. another black eye. Look, when we have a history lesson, we teach actual history here. JD Vance, not so much, botching a basic historical fact. We'll talk to Jimmie Kaska about the first week of high school football. We'll talk to Brittany Merlot about high school football weather. We'll talk to John Gordy from our Madison station, and Jane Matenaer will preview her show along with Craig Bach coming up after ours at 9 o'clock weekday mornings. But first, before all of that, we have to wait for our radio folks to catch up. They're in the midst of a news and commercial break, and we will all get this shindig started at 6:06 across the Civic Media Radio Network. And right here, we'll see you soon.
That's Jennifer Warren, Regional Communications Director for Red Cross of Wisconsin.
People that have gone through the flooding, they're overwhelmed. They're tired and they're looking for some help.
And volunteers are still needed, from on-the-ground help to even remote work from home. She says it's fulfilling and meaningful.
A moment, where something that you experience really touched you. Impact moment like that. And it kind of explains that's why you do what we're doing. You know what I mean? You have to be, I would say, compassionate.
You can sign up to volunteer right now at redcross.org. For Civic Media News, I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot.
And I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
It's the Brewers in Arizona. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball, the Brewers beginning a 4-game series tonight at American Family Field against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The D-backs still have a small chance at a wild card spot. They've been hit with injuries to their pitching staff. Lefty Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound for Arizona against right-handed veteran Brandon Woodruff for the Brewers. The crew celebrating Bob Uecker yesterday to a sold-out stadium. The Brewers losing to the Giants 4-3. San Francisco winning this series 2-1. NFL roster changes underway. The Packers trading a 6th-round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles for offensive tackle Darian Kennard, 6'5", 322 pounds. Originally drafted by the Chiefs 3 years ago, the Packers must reduce the roster from 90 to 53 players by tomorrow afternoon.
And now, obviously, a lot of decisions need to be made, and this is always kind of a bittersweet time. You got to say goodbye to a lot of guys that have busted their butt for months and months.
That's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur with Sports on Mike Clemens.
As Wisconsin is hitting the road on your Harley. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
It is going to be sunny and pleasant again today. Our high in the upper 60s to near 70 this afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear. We're going to drop down into the mid 40s. Tomorrow, more sunshine with a high right around 70. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it's 51.
Hey, Gordy, I gotta admit, these hearing aids from Madison Hearing Aid Center changed my life.
Mine too, John. I thought I needed subtitles to talk to my grandkids.
And these aren't those old giant clunkers we saw in the old days. It's got Bluetooth, it's rechargeable, the works.
Yeah, my phone connects straight to my ears. I'm basically a cyborg now.
Hey, you just figured out texting last year, too.
Yeah, baby steps. But I did call Madison Hearing Aid Center, and you should too. 608-249-4077.
608-249-4077. Tell them John and Gordy sent you.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
Live across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here is the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Well, hey there, Wisconsin. Good morning. It is 6:06 on this Monday morning, August 25th, 2025. It's another beautiful morning to have you here up north, live from Lake Wissota, from wherever you're listening across the Civic Media Radio Network, or watching us on social media or on the app or any of the other ways you can join us. Thanks for starting your week right here. I got a question for you. As Donald Trump continues to attack mail-in voting, let's talk about how popular absentee voting is in Wisconsin. A little quiz here, quick. How many ballots were mailed in as part of the 2024 presidential election in our state? I'll give you some choices. 500,000, 1 million, 1.5 million. I'll have the answer coming up for you in just a little bit. On the program today, how can you tell if someone is considering a run for state office? I mean, it's one thing to check their social media feed, but anyone can sound big at the bar and talk like a candidate when they're just talking through their keyboard. You should check the odometer next. We're going to talk to State Representative Francesca Hong of Madison, who has spent a lot of time outside of Madison. We'll talk about her travels and her very public statements about where Wisconsin Democrats should be headed in the 2026 elections, including the race for governor. We'll also talk about that with the president of the AFT-Wisconsin Educators Union, Jon Shelton. He, too, has been working on a letter that he co-authored along with State Senator Chris Larson about the qualities that voters should look for in Wisconsin's next governor. And in their mind, there had better be a better focus on not just supporting workers, but specifically union labor as well. Also, Vice President JD Vance gives the U.S. another black eye, botching a basic historical fact as part of the Trump administration effort to help Ukraine, or to help Russia, I should say, hold on to land that it seized from Ukraine. We'll get to the category of how is this still a thing, and talk about the fake electors court cases. They are still going on. There's been a new development in Wisconsin, not a big one, but it just reminds us to ask ourselves sometimes, what good is a justice system if it can't quickly bring justice to the people trying to overthrow the government? If the court system can't process it, it can't protect the next election. We're going to talk to Jimmie Kaska about the first week of high school football. We'll talk to Brittany Merlot about high school football weather, because it's a chilly one here in Chippewa Falls right now, 48 degrees up on the lake. We'll visit with our friends John Gordy from our Madison station and Jane Matenaer, whose show follows ours. All of that and more is coming up right after we check in with Parker Olson, who is producing this high-quality radio program from the comfort of Madison Studio A2. Parker Olson, how are you?
I'm doing well, Pat. I had a good weekend. I'm ready for a good week. I have my fingers crossed.
You have your fingers crossed?
Yeah, I have my fingers crossed. You never know. In today's day and age, you never know if it's going to be a good week. You just kind of have to keep your fingers crossed and hope.
Keep your fingers crossed. Well, I'm glad you're doing something concrete on that front. Fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Here, let me help with it. Okay. I don't know when I'm going to see you next, but I have a gift for you from the folks at WFHR in Wisconsin Rapids.
Oh, a white shirt. It'll make me look even whiter on this camera.
I hold up a t-shirt about the Wisconsin Rapids Rafters. Says catch all the games on WFHR. 97.5 FM and 1320 AM. So they would like you to be a billboard for WFHR and for the Rafters. They gave shirts for you and me while I was there last week.
Well, awesome. I am happy to be a billboard for one of our Civic Media stations.
There you go. Alicia offers the sound effect of raucous cheering on YouTube. So
yes.
I believe that was for you. I don't believe it's for the weather. This is it was gross yesterday. It was just gross all day. Yeah. At one point, I right after the Brewers game, I thought, well, I mean, it's not going to get any better out there. And it always looked like it wanted to rain, but not quite. So I'm like, okay, now I'll go mow the lawn now. I've been putting it off. So I go mow. And of course, about 2 minutes into it, a squall basically comes through, pelting you with sprinkles. Thankfully, it lasted a very short time. So I didn't even stop mowing. It just pushed right on through, but it was just windy, cloudy. There was a wind chill. I was, I had to go clean out the pontoon because we've got family arriving this week and get all the cobwebs and everything out of it. And it was cold down there with the wind whistling off the lake like that. Alicia saying on YouTube, no, the weather is too cold for August. It just is. Yeah. This is not, I saw the weather map over the weekend that this is one of those, we always talk about it during the winter. What do they call it? A polar express. And this particular air mass came from that same area of northern Canada. So, I mean, it is a polar express by definition. It's not 30 below, but I'm not happy about this.
Express? Not vortex?
Or vortex, whatever it is. Yeah.
If it's polar express,
is that
to know that there was
is that the Christmas train thing?
Yes. Yeah, that's the I was wait a minute. I would know about
a polar vortex. All right. It's Monday morning. Here.
It is.
I'll just have some more coffee while you laugh at me. That's okay.
Fingers crossed for a good week, Pat.
Fingers crossed. Yep. We got all this going for us, which is nice. Let's see. So did a lot of yard work, housework to get the house ready because we got kids and grandkids coming, which is going to be really nice. I also noticed, let's get into the gardening portion of the show here. We planted, or we had planted, these fingernails don't get too much dirt under them. We had planted some plum trees and, just, two of them, you got to have two, for these kinds of things. And on this 5th year that we have them, we're getting some very nice plums showing up on there. Yeah. Which is starting to beg the question, can I eat those yet? Are they? And I don't know, because it's the first year we've actually had decent plums on there, and they're not going to look all deep purple like at the grocery store, and I suppose trial and error is the only way, but I got a feeling by the time I decide to go actually try one, either the squirrels or the birds or somebody will shake them all off there and get them out of there. But
yeah, I'm not very familiar with plums, unfortunately, so I'm not sure I can be a lot of help here.
No, but that's one of the perks of having a radio show is you can just put it out there and somebody else can say, hey, because, and the reason we chose that was, as a kid, my Aunt Shirley had a big old plum tree, big mature plum tree in the backyard. And I mean, it's just one of those favorite childhood memories of my cousins and I climbing up into this tree and just eating the plums right off the branches. It was so good. They were so good. I mean, it's one of those, maybe I'm romanticizing a childhood memory a bit, but they only get sweeter with the years as you think back on something like that. So I'm hoping, as they would say, fingers crossed,
Fingers crossed. There you
to see if we can do that. So we had the Brewers Giants series over the weekend. Brewers dropped 2 of 3, but of course the larger focus yesterday was on the celebration of life for Bob Uecker, which I knew I was going to watch it all, and I did, and it was nice to see Bob Costas and all kinds of folks remembering Mr. Baseball. I don't have any big highlights to share with you other than Robin Yount's Uecker joke, which was great. It was when he says, "Ueck told me I'm not afraid of dying. I just don't want to be there when it happens." Classic Uecker.
Yeah.
And I loved the flyover from the 128th refueling unit. Yeah, it was all kinds of great memories from players past and present that were there. I'm sure you watched it.
Oh yeah, we were watching that too. Robin Yount for me too. That quote was what stood out to me. I loved his bit when he was pulling out the microphone from
Holding the
underneath him and
microphone
he had it
upside down.
Yeah,
which
I
again,
thought that was
he
great.
said
nod
he
to
said
you.
said Euchre taught him that one.
Exactly. Yep.
Never want to start too straight on something like this, and it was all very nice. It was a nice remembrance. It was, like I said before, it's a little weird to have it this late in the season, but at least they finally get to have a true public goodbye for him.
Yeah,
which was very nice.
I think it was very nice. And this is not, I refuse to believe that they would do this. But it was very nice to have with the San Francisco Giants, Willie Adames being back in Milwaukee. Because that obviously being a former Brewer, I'm sure he had a pretty close relationship.
And I mean, look, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that were part of it, because Willie was a beloved player for many years here, and Friday night's game was pretty amazing. I mean, you could tell he was touched by the rousing cheers before the game when they played his highlights on the scoreboard, the rousing cheers as he stepped up to the plate. He had to step out of the box and acknowledge everybody a couple of times. And then on the very first pitch, he cranks out a home run. And I got to tell you, there is something special. And I know people were doing this. They're giving him a standing ovation and clapping and booing at the same time. They're like, "We love you. We hate you. We love you. We hate you for doing that. We love you." And they did. They love Willie, but he had a very good weekend for the Giants, and Trevor McGill did not have a good weekend against the Giants, blowing a couple of saves. Brewers were up 3-2 in the bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, and McGill gave up a 2-run single, and the final score ended up to be 4-3. Although the Brewers still have a good lead in the National League Central Division as we head into the week here, a homestand with Arizona.
Yeah, I believe it's at 5 right now, effectively 4 with the Cubs having the tiebreaker over the Brewers.
Yeah.
I believe the Brewers have lost 5 of the last 8, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, we're not going to worry about that. That's
I'm not going to call them alarm bells, but a bell is going off.
A bell? Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say about the Arizona series? Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Because you say one dumb thing, you just got to keep going back to that well. So the Arizona Diamondbacks come to town, and you can hear the pregame starting at 6:05 this evening, tomorrow, and Wednesday. 6:05 all 3 days on several Civic Media stations. Then there's a day game Thursday. That pregame will begin at 12:35 later in the week. And then the Brewers head off for a very short road trip to Toronto and come back on Labor Day for a homestand against the Philadelphia Phillies. That'll get going there. The Green Bay Packers had their final preseason game on Saturday. They beat Seattle 20-7. Jordan Love practiced on a limited basis as he recovers from surgery on his left thumb, his non-throwing thumb. I watched 2, maybe 3 plays of the game, and was reminded I don't like preseason football. I have no interest in this, no cheering interest whatsoever, but they were there. So the season opener, by the way, will be September 7th versus the Detroit Lions at Lambeau Field, a 3:25 game for the season opener on Sunday, September 7th. The Badgers opener is this Thursday, 8 p.m., hosting Miami of Ohio. So, yeah, we're getting college football season getting underway here as well. All right. By the way, I mentioned earlier about absentee ballots and things like that. 500,000 were mailed in. Another 1 million people used absentee ballots to vote early in person at their local clerk's office, for a total of 1.5 million absentee ballots used. From the heart of America's up north, live from Lake Wissota, thanks for making this the place to spend a part of your mornings. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Thursday football, might be the worst kind of football. Regardless, NFL, college, it's not good.
And now, hot takes with Parker Olson.
It's not good. I've never seen a good Thursday night game.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Thanksgiving.
There you go. See?
Okay. There's one good.
Look at that. We've looked at the bright side.
That didn't take long. Okay.
Yeah, right. Let's see. We got this here.
Times to Evan Osnos of The New Yorker, along with former Washington Post columnist Eugene Robinson and Jennifer Rubin. Tickets at captimesmediafest.com.
No more mold, no more damage, no more slipping and hurting. Make your ordinary bathroom extraordinary for only $99 per month. New shower, new door, new tub, new wall, new anti-slip technology. BCI Bath and Shower is made in America for the highest quality. First 50 callers save $1,500 on a never clear glass treated door. BCI Bath and Shower. Interest-free financing options. 800-329-4115. 800-329-4115. 800-329-4115.
An unsuspecting driver at a Milwaukee barbershop.
I got an apprentice here shadowing me. I'll put this hot towel on, man. About a good 3 minutes, all right?
The apprentice is Donald Driver.
So when you come here, you drive?
Yes.
Your car got seatbelts?
Yeah.
You wear them?
No.
Okay, but why not?
I don't want to.
But do you know you can get a ticket for that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you a ticket. Bet you wish you buckle up now.
Oh, my God.
Donald Driver can't always be there to remind you.
Take it, click it. There we go. Click it or ticket.
And let's reduce fatalities on Wisconsin roadways. Sponsored by Wisconsin DOT.
Hey, Gordy, I got to admit, these hearing aids from Madison Hearing Aid Center changed my life.
Mine too, John. I thought I needed subtitles to talk to my grandkids.
And these aren't those old giant clunkers we saw in the old days.
Welcome back at 6:23. A reminder that we've got a couple of different newsletters here at Up North News, including our Sunday morning one about Wisconsin politics and politics in general, including our question of the week. This one's kind of a slam dunk, but I just wanted to see what the response was like, and the early response is overwhelming. Should Wisconsin keep or get rid of mail-in voting? Which I know sounds like what, but that's the thing that the president of the United States is again trying to get rid of, vowing to get rid of mail-in voting. So far, folks in Wisconsin like their mail-in ballots. Last week's question of the week was, what should Donald Trump's next job be? Because Sean Duffy said, oh, he wants to be transportation secretary. Do you know that not a single one of you sent that in? So I agree. I think Donald Trump wants to be transportation secretary. Instead, I made a word cloud of it, and I should have made it, Parker, to show up on screen here. But imagine a word cloud with some of the most frequently offered job titles. Now there's a couple in here like caddy and unemployed.
He's
And
of a golfer to be a caddy.
divot filler and septic engineer, farm laborer was on there, but here, a lot of them, the biggest one, the word in the middle of the word cloud, inmate. There's also incarcerated. There's let's see, prison laundry worker. There's felon. There's fugitive. Chief rock breaker was one of my favorite. There was a Trump supporter who sent in vice president, should be his next job. So that's there. Working in Antarctica. Let's see, retired.
Not qualified to work in Antarctica.
And host of Prison Cribs. So just a few of the things that were in our word cloud from our question of the week. This one a lot easier. What should we do with mail-in voting? The vice president was not much more useful, it seems, to folks lately. And I'm not going to dwell on it long. JD Vance was asked by Kristen Welker over the weekend about, what to do about Ukraine, Russia and Ukraine, and is anything going to happen? Vance is saying, well, it's got to be a negotiated settlement. And the clip, I'm going to tell you what he said, and then I'm going to tell you the movie clip it reminded me of. His answer was, if you go back to World War II, if you go back to World War I, if you go back to every major conflict in human history, they all end with some kind of negotiation. And it had the entire world going, what? Was World War II ended by negotiating? I fear that the president of the United States is no smarter than John Belushi's character in Animal House.
Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
That's it. That's our vice president right there, boys and girls. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? There was a development in the fake electors case. Yeah, the fake electors case is still a thing in Wisconsin and in several other states here. Now, if you need the refresher, because it's been so long, but even before Donald Trump lost the 2020 election to Joe Biden, he was planning to steal it. He was putting plans in motion to sow seeds of doubt, to tarnish the legitimacy of the results, and even to go so far as to get the results changed, telling people in Georgia he wanted them to find more votes. And he had a couple of attorneys with Wisconsin ties create slates of fake electors to submit paperwork saying that Donald Trump had actually won their states, including Wisconsin. And it took forever, but we are finally seeing some motion on this. We are finally seeing the court cases move along, except that, again, like Trump himself in his criminal cases, these defendants have learned how to game the system, how to drag things out. And so the latest in the Wisconsin case was a motion to dismiss the charges filed by Kenneth Chesbro, a Wisconsin Rapids native, and Jim Trupus, a former Dane County judge who was acting as Trump's campaign attorney. They have previously acknowledged their roles in helping to create, organize, and execute a plan to offer up, quote unquote, alternative electors. It took until 14 months ago, but in Wisconsin, there were finally some felony charges filed, felony forgery charges against Chesbro and Trupus and Mike Roman, Trump's director of Election Day operations back in 2020. And a Dane County judge on Friday rejected the motion by the three defendants to have the charges dismissed, which means now the court case just gets back to wherever it was in its long, regular process, which leads me to simply ask this question. How is this still a thing? Look, I understand our courts are overloaded. I do. But people, this is about priorities. This was a plot to overthrow an election, to basically take down the United States government, the thing that allows our court system to operate in the first place. And so with these delays, it's easy to understand why so many Americans think the system is irretrievably broken, even to the point where some of them say we should reelect someone who is working so blatantly to tear it apart. That, of course, is a terrible option. But it was made a more viable option by 4 years of prosecutorial dithering and by coddling every effort by the Trump cartel to run out the clock on the charges. Everyone in the justice system who contributed to this delay should be embarrassed, because justice delayed is justice denied, in this case to an entire country and to its election security. Hey, thanks for spending some time up here as part of your mornings, powered by Up North News. We'll have today's history lesson after the Midwest Farm Report. I'm Pat Kreitlow.
Cheering on Bucky Badger. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Well, the Pro Farmer Crop Tour wrapped up on Friday in Minnesota, and they're looking at some big yield expectations. I'm PM Yankee, starting you off before the opening bell on a Monday morning. Quick look at what's happening in agribusiness news. In case you didn't take a closer look at that report released in Minnesota, on Friday, they projected the national corn average, according to their numbers, 182.7 bushel to the acre. That's about a 0.5% increase over last year's record production. Soybeans, their national production yield expected about 53 bushel to the acre, down 1.9 bushel per acre from last year, or 3.5%. But they're also quick to point out this crop still has some challenges ahead of it. Mike Zuzolo is with Global Commodity Analytics, and he said this crop, both corn and beans, have a lot of disease to contend with yet.
Then I think we turn our attention back to the weather the last 10 days of August, very similarly to
Okay. That's a very good point, Tony. I am a sucker for like Tuesday night action. I'll give you that.
We're probably going to start capping the yield, if not take the yield down, and they kind of try and dress that and price that into the upcoming September report.
Mike Zuzolo, one of the crop scouts on the Pro Farmer Crop Tour. He's with Global Commodity Analytics. If you want to see all the results from their 33rd annual crop tour, pop on over to profarmer.com. We'll take a look at dairy next.
Farmers and ranchers across the country trust Can-Am because of how they build, support, and stand behind their machines. Now they're backing that trust with even more. Get 24 months of coverage when you purchase select Defender and Outlander models through the Can-Am Agricultural and Business Program. That's how confident they are in the durability of their units. That's not all. You also get a rebate up to $3,500. Give your fleet the upgrade it deserves. Visit the Can-Am website to learn more about the program. Offer ends October 31st. Certain conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Barrel cheese on Friday was down a nickel at 176. The 40-pound block cheese finished the week down 3, 175. Well, double A butter dropped a half, 223.5 per pound. This morning, the September Class 3 milk that goes into cheese is down a nickel, 18.22. We'll take a look at the grain trade next.
Unique farming operations need unique financial solutions. Ag Country Farm Credit Services offers customized financing that fits any size farm, ranch, or agribusiness. The next time you're in the market for more land, equipment, facilities, or maybe even an operating loan, contact the team at Ag Country. They know agriculture and will work for you. Ag Country, focused on ag, focused on you. Ag Country is an equal opportunity lender.
This morning, December corn's up 4 at 4.15. November beans down a penny at 10.57. Currently, July new crop wheat's up 2.5, 5.67 a bushel. I'm PM Yankee.
As Wisconsin as a fish fry on a Friday night, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
It is going to be sunny and pleasant again today. Our high in the upper 60s to near 70 this afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear. We're going
Hello.
Good morning.
How was our weekend?
Fine.
Fine. Did you leave the cat alone again?
The cat. He's always here.
Okay. And how's camping, Kristen?
It was so good.
Oh, good. Yeah, especially because you came back before we went into the deep freeze here for camping.
We're fire people, though, so we always have a fire, so we're always warm.
Fire people. I like it. Okay. All right. And you went to the Euchre tribute.
Oh, it was amazing. Not a dry eye. I know there's no crying in baseball, but yesterday there was a lot of crying at the new county stadium.
Yeah. Were you at the Packer game too?
Uh-huh. Took it all in.
Took it all in.
I didn't go to the game.
Living her best life, you know.
I tailgated. I didn't go to the game. I biked down and tailgated and then biked home.
Gotcha. All right. All righty. 20 seconds, people.
Yo, remember back on the bully when cats used to harmonize like,
That harmonizing was not Kristen Lyerly and Selena Heller, though I would not doubt that they could do that.
Try us.
Yeah.
Try us.
This, of course, was Lauryn Hill releasing her solo album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, this day in 1998. It became the first hip-hop album to win the Grammy for Album of the Year. Welcome to today's history lesson. Yes, at its new and expanded time. And that includes Selena Heller and Dr. Kristen Lyerly on Monday mornings. We are so lucky that you guys wanted to get up a little bit earlier. Thank you.
We love history.
Oh, that's it.
and you, of course, Pat, but history.
It's the history that does it all. Yes, that's great. Let's see. We've got a little extra time, so we don't have to rush so much between songs here, which is good because we now need to set aside the history lesson for a new segment we call Kristen Lyerly Living Her Best Life. And so that would include some Packers on Saturday, some Brewers on Sunday. You were camping prior to that. So it's been a good past few days for you, I trust.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. But, there's so much good stuff happening. How do you not go to the Packer game when it's so beautiful? I know it's just a preseason game, but just to be out there talking to people, tailgating. I met these two fellas from New York, lifetime Packer fans. One of them was a Giants fan, but had been fans since the Lombardi era. And this was their first trip to Lambeau. So we got to chat and I gave them some suggestions about what to do and see in town. And it was just so neat. And then I talked with some other folks from Illinois. Like, it is a beautiful day. It was a great game. And, life is good. We are really lucky.
Yeah. And then, of course, you've got the Euchre tribute to which Cassandra puts on YouTube. OMG, I was bawling by the end of it. They did such a good job honoring Euchre. And you were at that one as well.
I was also bawling. There's no crying in baseball, but yesterday there was a lot of crying at the new county stadium.
That's okay. Totally understandable. And so that ends Kristen Lyerly living her best life for the weekend. Let's Selena Heller, you got anything to compete with that?
No, this past weekend was kind of my down weekend where we didn't run all over the place. Like our camping was the week before, so it was just a kind of a catch up at home.
Yeah. Nope. That's what we had here as well. So let's see. Let's get a couple more history notes in here. On this day in 1970, a still relatively unknown 23-year-old Elton John played his first live show in the U.S. at the Troubadour in West Hollywood. The show got rave reviews, giving him a huge career boost here in the States. Let's see. The number one song this week in 1962 was by Little Eva.
Come on, baby, do the locomotion. I know you get to like it if you give it a chance now.
Little Eva was Eva Boyd. She passed away back in 2003. But at the time, she was the 19-year-old babysitter for Carole King and Jerry Goffin's daughter. And they said, hey, we wrote a song for you. Would you sing this for us? The Locomotion. And it went to number one in 1962.
Mm-hmm.
I have babysat a lot when I was younger. And
what does that tell you, Pat?
None of them turned me into singing stars. I don't know. You guys babysat. So Little Eva, one of the world's luckiest babysitters, had the number one song this week in 1962. Let's see. Happy birthday to Gene Simmons from Kiss. He is 76 years old today.
Does he make you think, how long is my own tongue? I always want to measure my own tongue when I think of Gene Simmons.
She's got the famous tongue.
That's a good point.
I don't know. Stick it out. Let's see.
Yeah, what do you got?
It's not that long.
It's not. Yeah, we all just have kind of the. Yeah.
Can you touch your nose?
No. No.
Can you roll your tongue? That's a thing too.
I can't roll my tongue.
Roll it.
In this house, we do.
I can do like a hot dog.
Rolling.
Or do other tricks. Like I have a friend who can do the cherry stem thing, tie a cherry
I
stem.
can do that.
What?
Yeah, I raised money at a fundraiser for United Cerebral Palsy before because they said, okay, you do that. And I did. And I raised, I don't know, like $100 they gave.
I'd like to just summarize what happened here. Selena Heller raised $100 for United Cerebral Palsy by tying a cherry stem in a knot with her tongue.
I'm glad you said it that way. All right. Here's the birthdays continue now. Because after that, you got no place else to go. Happy birthday to Elvis Costello, who is 71 years old today.
Every day, every day, every day, every day I write the book.
I have to admit, I don't know a lot of Elvis Costello tunes. I love that song because that's me. I love the pop stuff, and that one was a big favorite of mine. And there's a couple of others that I like, but I'm sure there's any Elvis Costello super fans in the group here.
Yeah.
Okay. Happy birthday to him. How about Judas Priest? Where's Greg Bach when you need him? Rob Halford turns 74 years old today. And I just remember how he was floored at the prospect of doing a duet with Dolly Parton not that long ago, or doing something for her Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And he just thought that she was the greatest, and she appreciated him. That's the Judas Priest Dolly Parton crossover nobody knew we needed, and yet there it is.
Dolly Parton has done so many crossovers with so many different people.
I
She's
know.
she's the GOAT.
She is, without a doubt. Billy Ray Cyrus is 64 years old today, and because I love my job and I love my listeners, I'm not playing that song for you. So Billy Ray Cyrus
That's fine with
and
me.
his Achy Breaky Heart are 64. Do not start singing it. No.
I don't even know what it is. So.
What?
I don't think, not via name. I don't know what song you're talking about.
Let's pretend that
Heart?
Parker never said that, and let's just move on.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I didn't know who sang that.
Okay. Jody Messina is 55 years old today.
I interviewed Jody Messina.
California, somewhere greener, somewhere warmer, up in the mountains.
Now I didn't put down the name of who did the version a couple of years back that was a song all about this song, which was Jody Messina's 1996 debut, Heads Carolina, Tails California. And then then she surprised everybody coming out on stage at the Country Music Awards and singing it. But I was in a real 90s country phase, part of it working at the big radio station in Eau Claire, which was a country station. And this was on repeat. This song was on all the time, along with a lot of other good tunes from that era. So when did you interview her?
Oh gosh, when she came to Country Jam here in Eau Claire, and she was the nicest, most pleasant person. I remember. And then she was like, "Oh, can I get a picture with you?" And it was the cutest. Like, what? So she had her person, we were backstage and took a picture. And I thought, oh, that's really neat. That's fun.
That's great. Thank you. Cassandra Cole Swindell did the other song about the song, which was a very cool song and a very cool moment as well. The larger question, Selena, is what country stars have you not interviewed, because you spent many years backstage at Country Jam for that?
I did. I had the Country Jam beat, but the funniest was Carrot Top, the comedian, came to Country Jam.
Wasn't that that was when you did not enjoy that interview, did you?
That's correct. Yes, I've talked about that before. That was
inappropriate. Yes, exactly.
In a word.
If you take Carrot Top out, because if we're talking about country music artists, you got to. Are you able to say that there is some singer who also did not give a great interview? Shall we say, or were they all just sweet, wonderful, humble singers?
I think I don't. Low Cash, before they were known as the Low Cash Cowboys. So back then it was the Low Cash Cowboys they were just in the area. Where were they over the weekend? So, they were here, just in Chippewa. Low Cash was, because we kind of gave them a start here in Eau Claire. We had them back year after year here at Country Jam. So they were kind of off the wall, not inappropriate, but kind of wild.
Okay. At no point yet has Dr. Larley jumped in and said, "Oh yeah, I interviewed them too." Or I was.
Always.
You rub elbows with any country music stars?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Actor Blair Underwood is 61 years old today. Rachel Ray is 57 today. And actress Blake Lively is 38 years old today. On this day in 1975, Bruce Springsteen released his third album, and it was pretty much his big breakthrough. You'll hear this and understand why. Yeah, this, of course, would be Born to Run. And a few people, well, actually, a lot of people around New Jersey knew all about Bruce Springsteen at the time. Everybody knew about Bruce Springsteen after this album came out in 1975, except for some of us who it took the Born in the USA album to come out. But we eventually caught up.
We knew he was there, but we really got into him after Born in the USA.
Yes, that's it. So that was 1975. In 1976, on this day, Boston released their self-titled debut album, mostly recorded in Tom Scholz's basement studio. And yet it became one of the best-selling debut albums of all time. And I saw a TikTok clip over the weekend. This very elderly man comes around the corner in a walker. He's got long, gray hair, receding hairline. He's heading to the recliner, and you hear somebody out, his wife or somebody saying, "Say hello to the TikTok people. Hello, TikTok people." And all the comments, of course, they recognize that it's Tom Scholz, who's a lot older now. He's 50 years older than he was back then, but was saying hello to all the TikTok people. And he should, for having an album that big. This week in 1979, the Knack's My Sharona hit #1 for the first of 6 weeks. Happy birthday to the National Park Service, created this day in 1916. So this is National Park Service Founders Day. And this is also National Banana Split Day, which leads to this question. Does anybody have a banana split anymore? Where you split the banana lengthwise and put it on either side of some ice cream and fudge, or do you just slice up your banana like a normal person and have it over your ice cream? Selena's nodding though.
I've seen them being served at the county fairs and things just this summer. So people order them still. We don't do them at home.
No, I don't think anybody does. Kristen, what's your ice cream go-to when you're going to DQ or Culver's or something?
I'm just kind of a flavor of the day kind of gal. But, the problem with the banana split is you have to cut the banana with your spoon. And that can be kind of challenging. You could have a banana accident.
A banana accident? with those plastic spoons, those are like shanks, I tell you.
You could break your spoon. You might launch your banana out of the very shallow banana boat and get chocolate all over your white pants. Things can happen.
Dangerous territory.
I just don't think that anybody does that. I think they just, like I said, slice it up at this point. But I could be wrong. Maybe somebody loves to make banana splits at home. Yeah.
I don't like fruit and ice cream at all together.
Oh, hey, now there's
you know what? That's fair.
That is. It's a hot take. Absolutely. A little bit later on, Selena Howe is going to talk to us about weekend events that included Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders coming to Wisconsin to endorse Rebecca Cook, one of 3 Democrats running in the 3rd Congressional District, and also other stories that she's been covering for Up North News as well. We'll also be talking to meteorologist Brittany Merlot, and we'll also talk to UW Green Bay professor and AFT-Wisconsin president Jon Shelton about the 2026 governor's race. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Alicia's going with cookie dough and M&Ms.
That's a good choice.
Go with that.
Yeah. Yep. Selena, I haven't uploaded any of your tapes yet here to young Mr. Olson. I'm going to do that during the news here. So, what all do we got there? Because there was 4 tapes, and I didn't have time to review them.
I said if you wanted to do 2 and 2, or just do 2 altogether, I just gave us some options if you wanted.
I'll have to look over the news here. All right. Kristen, anything else in the news you want to go over during this segment here?
I've been kind of not in the news lately with all of my shenanigans all over Northeast Wisconsin and the world.
are you talking about your plans this week at all, or are we just going to wait till that's all done?
About my knee surgery?
That's the one.
Oh, sure. Well, there's my knee surgery on Wednesday, and then my youngest starts his junior year of high school on Thursday, and then Lindsay, number 3, goes to college on Sunday. So it's a big week for the Lyerleys.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Mhm.
What's Emery's school schedule here?
The just after Labor Day they start. Welcome back picnic is this week, but otherwise they start next week.
Okay. Oh, my oldest grandchild, Mason. Today is his 19th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Mason.
I know. Well, he won't hear. He doesn't wake. He sleeps till noon.
Yeah.
All the
I
time.
remember when he was born.
I know.
Gosh.
Yep. It's it's every year I kind of have to process that. Like, wait, he's what? He's okay. All right, I got to go get a couple of things here. I'll be right back. Actually, just going to bring this up full, and I got to get some temperatures here.
76.
What'd you say?
70 seconds, and then I turned off the mic as I was going. Yeah, that.
I said I'm going to get some temperatures, and I thought you said 76. I'm like, what?
You can dream, Kreitlow.
That would be a divide. Yeah.
I closed my windows last night. It's cold.
Oh, I kept mine open. I love it. 30 seconds.
Welcome back. It's a Monday morning. It's August 25th, 2025. And let's see, it's right now in Chippewa Falls, 48 degrees. In La Crosse, it's 50 right now. Oshkosh, 49. And in front of the Black Cat Coffee House in Ashland, it is 47. Pick Ashland because I figured that might be where Tony gets his cup of coffee. Well, we'll have to find out where his favorite breakfast place is in Madison. Selena Heller here with us, Dr. Kristen Lyerly as well on this Monday morning. And it's for some folks, it's back to school week. I've still never quite processed that because I grew up at a time when the first day of school was always the day after Labor Day, which on the one hand does make sense. You're bookending your school year. You start the day after Labor Day, you wrap it up Memorial Day. Summer is that period between those two holidays. Obviously, a lot of people, fudge it one way or the other. And it's still a little weird for me to start school and then go, okay, now everybody have a 3-day weekend. And usually it's a 4-day weekend because people are taking off on Friday, right? So I don't know. So, Selena, what do they do in Eau Claire?
Start after Labor Day. So we have like a welcome or a meet the teacher day the day after Labor Day, and then school starts a full day the next day. And I did a story a couple of years ago about, was how Wisconsin does that, and they want, the economy a last big punch before the ending of the summer. So that's kind of the sentiment. People get out and spend money quick.
We live here, so we forget that people vacation here. This is a tourist destination, so we still need people to be working in tourism driven areas on Labor Day weekend. So I totally get that. But we start the day before, 2 days before Labor Day in De Pere.
Yeah.
Just off of Green Bay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. Alicia says her oldest is starting classes at Fox Valley Tech today. Tony on YouTube says that Washburn starts next week. So, And I've got, kids, grandkids coming out this week, which means that, yes, the 6-year-old is starting first grade today. Today's the first day of first grade. We talked to him yesterday, and he said, "What do you think, buddy?" He's like, "I'm excited, but I'm a little bit nervous." And we're like, "It's okay, bud. You're gonna make friends. It's how I feel every Monday morning. I'm very excited, but always just a little bit nervous, So
is it us, Pat? Do we make you nervous?
No, you guys.
Is it all of this feminine energy on Monday morning? Is that
No, you guys are the antidote. This is you guys make my Mondays. I'm so thankful that you guys come in. And it's a big week for us. We've got the both daughters coming in, all the grandkids, including the oldest one. Today is his 19th birthday.
Yay!
And it's still, again, every year on Mason's birthday, I have to process that. Like, I've been a grandpa for 19 years.
19 years.
And Selena remembers when he was born.
When he was born.
Yeah, that was the year I was running for legislature. It was just a crazy year. Now
you guys were walking in the parades and
yep, pushing the stroller with him in there. And now
bring your own baby to kiss. That was smart. Very smart.
Exactly. And now here he is getting set to join the Air Force. He just graduated high school. So this is just really exciting.
Wow.
And Kristen, you have an exciting week coming up as well. And I see why last week was so great with the camping and the Packers and the Brewers, because you're not going to do quite so much of that this week.
I had to squeeze it all in last week because I'm having my knee replaced on Wednesday, which is crazy. It'll be the 5th surgery on that stupid knee. So hopefully this is the last one.
Is this a accident? What started all of this?
Oh, I had a stupid traumatic skiing accident, and I
skiing, that's
stupidly
right.
broke my stupid leg, and it's been stupidly messed up ever since then. So hopefully this will fix it.
Stupid knee.
It's frustrating. I'm active. I ride my bike 100 miles on a regular basis in the summer. I do yoga and I try to keep myself healthy, but sometimes health gets out of your control and you just have to go with it. So that's what we're doing on Wednesday.
So I am in no way, shape, or form passing judgment or being critical. I'm asking this. I'm asking this to a doctor. The balance between, they say, motion is lotion and all that stuff. But is there also this notion of, well, maybe 100 miles of biking and all that yoga has kind of accelerated this need for it?
Well, the thing that accelerated the need for it is my inability to acknowledge that I should not have been skiing. So
we're still coming back to the skiing. It all comes back to the one stupid day that you skied.
Stupid. No, I skied a lot. The problem is I'm very bendy. My joints move too much. So when I fall, my joints don't help me. So I've actually injured myself numerous times skiing. This time was really bad. So I should have read the warning signs in the previous injuries that I had, but I did not. So that was not a smart move on my part. And now I'm paying the price.
Okay. Robin Tigerton says Tigerton schools start the day after Labor Day. Marion schools start today. So I suppose every one of them is different. I don't want to give away everything here before Brittany gets here, but Rob did say it a busy weekend at the Tigerton Lumberjack Days and filled up on corn at the corn roast. This was a big weekend for corn roast. Loyal had their corn roast. Who else had their big one? Was it Sun Prairie or some other place just had theirs? And we finally figured out the right way to go about doing this. We would get sweet corn every year. And of course, now it's just me and Sherry. So we, just get 4 or 5, maybe 6 ears of corn and just eat them. And that was it. And this time we actually got extras. And after it was cooked, cut it off the cob to warm up later. And if anybody's wondering if that's worth it, or does it just taste like regular old corn? No, it tastes it. I don't know why we didn't do that before. I really don't. It's amazing. So get out there and support your local farmer. Buy that sweet corn in bulk, people.
Emery's has so many teeth missing, I have to cut it off so I can.
Poor thing.
I said, do you want me to cut it off? Yes, because it's too hard.
Oh, well, that makes perfect sense. Coming up in our next hour, we're going to be talking to Jon Shelton. He's a UW Green Bay professor and president of AFT-Wisconsin, talking about the qualities Wisconsin should look for in its next governor. 2 more hours to go as we get rolling on one of these mornings powered by Up North News. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Okay. I got to go take a break. I got to go get your tapes uploaded, Selena, and figure those out. Maybe you and Parker want to, no, wait till I come back on here. Do either one of you want to bail at 7:20 versus 7:30?
7:30 is good for me. Can we talk a little bit about my show?
Well, yeah. See, when they say, what have you been up to? That's you're like, yeah, I did this radio show. Here it's so yes, definitely you got to bring that up. Selena, what else?
I can stay till then, and that's it.
I also did you get the press release on the Chippewa Falls teacher who was history teacher of the year?
I did not.
Okay.
I
was gonna bring it up in one of the local breaks here, but no rush. So okay, I'm gonna leave your mics up in case you want to chat. I will be back in just a bit.
ABC's Jay O'Brien in Washington. An Israeli strike on Nasser Hospital in southern Gaza has killed more than a dozen people. This is ABC News.
As Wisconsin has a game of cribbage with good friends, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. One library at UW Madison is now closed, and another will follow, all because of federal budget cuts. The Astronomy, Mathematics, and Physics Library shut its doors on Friday. The Wisconsin State Journal reports the Social Work Library is next and will close in the upcoming school year. It's been part of the campus since 1972. The university is cutting its budget by 5% across most departments and 7% in others. Some campus libraries are consolidating, and at least 3 of them are shortening their hours. Some materials will be put into shelved storage, others will be moved to different areas. And volunteers from all over Wisconsin are helping folks in Milwaukee after the flooding. Here's meteorologist Brittany Merlot.
The Red Cross Wisconsin has workers and volunteers from all across the state to help with flood relief in Milwaukee.
And we have pulled volunteers from all 5 of our chapters to come and help out with the response to the flooding.
That's Jennifer Warren, Regional Communications Director for Red Cross of Wisconsin.
People that have gone through the flooding, they're overwhelmed. They're tired and they're looking for some help.
And volunteers are still needed, from on-the-ground help to even remote work from home. She says it's fulfilling and meaningful.
A moment, where something that you experience really touched you. Impact moment like that. And it kind of explains that's why you do what we're doing. You know what I mean? You have to be, I would say, compassionate.
You can sign up to volunteer right now at redcross.org. For Civic Media News, I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot.
And I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
Decisions in Green Bay. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NFL, the Packers beat the Seahawks 20-7 over the weekend. Training camp over now, and the team must decide who will stay and who will be released. Kalen King hopes he's earned a spot as a defensive back. I asked him how he'll spend his time between now and tomorrow's 3 p.m. deadline to reduce the roster from 90 to 53 players.
Spending time with myself, going over the film, and at the end of the day, it's not my decision to make, but only thing I can control is what I put on film, and I feel like I did my job today.
The Packers making a trade, sending a 6th-round pick to Philly for Eagles offensive tackle Darian Kennard. Baseball, the Brewers opening a 4-game series at home tonight against the Diamondbacks. Yesterday, the team celebrating the life of Bob Uecker.
He had this larger-than-life personality, but if he never said one thing that was funny, and you just judged him as a baseball announcer, especially on the radio, Hall of Fame caliber baseball announcer,
That's Bob Costas with Sports on Mike Clemens.
All right, Parker, are you seeing in Dropbox that the 4 video clips are there from Selena?
I have Bernie, Von Ruden, and another Bernie, so 3.
And you should see another Von Ruden there shortly. So,
okay.
There we go. Okay, I put them all on your 706 rundown, and Selena had suggested 2 of them at 650 and 2 of them at 720. And so why don't we do the 650 ones in this segment after weather, and we'll do the 720 ones in the 720 segment. So you'll have Von Ruden tariffs and Bernie fight for farmers.
Tariffs first. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Selena, you got that all in front of you too?
Yep.
Okay. All right. And let's see. So we're just waiting on Brittany here. And there we go. And there she is. There we go. Hi, Brittany.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Good. Let's see. We got a lot of comments on the weather here. So some people think it's refreshing.
Some? Only some?
Some, because they're wrong. All right, just about 20 seconds.
Live across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Minnesota studio, here is the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Hey, good morning. It is 7:06, and it is nice to have you back here up north on this August 25th, 2025. Parker Olson is our producer down in Madison Studio A2. Dr. Kristen Lyerly is here. Selena Heller from Up North News is here, as is meteorologist Brittany Merlot. Coming up this hour, we're going to be talking to Jon Shelton, the professor at UWGB, who's also the head of AFT-Wisconsin, about the qualities that Wisconsin's looking for in a governor next year. And in our 8 o'clock hour, same topic, but with State Representative Francesca Hong of Madison, who has been spending a lot of time outside of Madison, which, of course, fuels all that speculation about what does Fran Hong want to do in 2026. So we'll talk to her coming up in our 8 o'clock hour. On the text line from Jim in Brookfield, good morning, Pat. Currently 52 in Brookfield. Attended the IndyCar race at State Fair Park yesterday. For the most part, good weather. However, one yellow caution due to a light sprinkle of rain from one dark cloud. A good race overall. And that a good Jim from Brookfield. So thanks for sending that in. And Brittany Merlot is here right now. We talked an hour ago, Brittany, about basically yesterday was just gross up this way. Dark overcast all day. Wind. It was a wind chill, basically. And then, almost like a squall when it would come down. And
I thought that was cool. I don't know. It was refreshing. It was
refreshing.
Cool. Oh, yeah.
Cool.
I like fall.
I feel the windows open, that breeze going through the house. Oh my gosh, I haven't had that all summer.
How could you hear the breeze over all the swearing from people who were camping and stuck in this 40-degree weather, 40-some degree weather? I mean, it's still 49 degrees here in the Chippewa Valley. Is this the new normal for the rest of our quote unquote summer?
No way. Get out of here. That's not the case. It was just a little tease of fall to get us excited for what's ahead, I guess.
Okay.
But Hayward right now, they're nearly freezing, 37 degrees right now in Hayward. So I don't know. We have to ask them how they're feeling right now. But everybody else, we are looking at upper 40s to mid 50s out there this morning. It's going to be a bright, beautiful, crisp day once again. Yeah, those winds are still going to be whipping, still out of the northwest, feeling like fall today. It's going to be highs in the low to mid 60s pretty much across the state. So this is 15 degrees below where we should be, because we should be in those mid 70s to low 80s. And of course, overnight again tonight, we are looking at dropping back down to the mid 40s to about 50 degrees. So another cool one. I suggest opening the windows, going for a nice hike, enjoying the crisp, comfortable weather. We are going to stay in the low to mid 60s tomorrow and some 70s off west. And we start to warm things up on Wednesday, but we're also looking at a chance of showers and storms Wednesday night. Otherwise, dry all week. So dry start, dry end. We do have some shower chances that want to move in on Labor Day weekend, but also temperatures warming too, back to those mid 70s. So it's still looking good ahead, but comfortable and calm.
Comfortable. I guess that's the word for this. I have this weird feeling on my skin now. It's called sleeves. And pants.
Me too.
I know. I haven't been in a, I've been in short sleeves for weeks, shorts much of the time, and today it's flannel and it's actual socks, and it doesn't it feel weird?
It does.
Okay, you're still going with refreshing, aren't you?
I still like it, but it does feel a little weird to have these extra clothes on.
Rob says, "Good morning."
After Labor Day.
Yes, exactly.
After Labor Day.
Otherwise you have to wear. Can you wear your white flannel before Labor? Anyway. Good morning from Tigerton. It's sunny and 48. Feels like 45. I love this weather. He says for working outside. Had a busy weekend. Was at Tigerton Lumberjack Days. Filled up at the corn roast as well. Let's see, what else did he say here? There was also the strong person contest in lifting split rock stones. The champion was his regular Dr. Elizabeth. Let's see, he also talked about taking pictures from Kristen's event in Neopit. So we got to ask you about that as well, Kristen, and that there was a downpour during the Tigerton parade. He says, I have knee problems. I hurt my knee playing football. And Tony says about the weather that it feels right.
Yeah.
Of course,
he lives way up north.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. He's up there, in the Ashland area. He says it's great for campfires and things like that. Let's see. Alicia was telling us that she was at the Bart Star Plaza raffling a jersey for disabled American veterans, and they had a forget-me-not drive over the weekend as well. And also says that we talked about Gene Simmons's birthday. Alicia says that's one of my odd talents. I can touch my nose with my tongue.
Now we need the photo.
I know, right?
Exactly. Brittany, thank you so much. We'll we appreciate the forecast.
Thank you.
Maybe not the cold temperatures, but that's that's just, again, refreshing. We'll see you next hour. Thank you, Brittany. Remember, you can sign up for our newsletters, upnorthnewswi.com. We've got our weekday one that's put together by Henry, and I got to tell you, I haven't even glanced at it yet to tell you what to look for here. So we should, of course, it's hummingbird migration time, where you can see, also a story.
You sounded like Little John there when you said that. Yeah.
For hummingbirds. A lot of the birds migrated back over the weekend because it was so cold.
Yeah,
I saw that.
It's a good point that we've confused them all. We've just nature has confused the birds. And also a story about Milwaukee beginning its recovery after historic floods. Again, all that and more in our newsletter. Sign up for it at upnorthnewswi.com. All right. So Selena was, you worked over the weekend. There was a visit by Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. It was by and large for Rebecca Cook, candidate for Congress, but along with Senator Sanders, there was Darren Von Ruden, who is president of the Wisconsin Farmers Union. And so we wanted to find out what all you heard from them as part of Senator Sanders' trip to Wisconsin.
Oh, yes. Well, Kiana, she's our video correspondent. She was there. So she was giving me all sorts of reports back. And she was driving out on this gravel road because it was out in a rural area at the Pierce Hill Performing Arts Center in Viroqua in Vernon County. And it was a packed house, reports up to like 1,000 people. It was pretty full. The barn, it was an open venue of a barn, an open barn. So there were seats inside and all the way outside. And so it was kind of a packed house. And it kind the rural setting. They talked a lot about rural issues. Of course, Rebecca Cook grew up on a dairy farm in Eau Claire. So a lot of talk about rural issues. And Darren Vadrun was there, president of the Wisconsin Farmers Union, like you said. And he kind of talked a lot about tariffs and what is going on and food prices with local farmers. And here's what he had to say. One of the things.
The future does not look bright in farm country right now. You look at corn and soybean prices are dropping. Certainly if tariffs go into effect at the rates that they're going to be with some of our biggest trading partners, that just means more corn and soybeans are going to end up staying here in the United States, which depresses our prices. When was the last time anybody's grocery bill went down? Farmers' prices drop and you guys don't see that. It's very frustrating as a farmer to have to do that. That's why we need good people in DC that are going to go out there to fight for us.
And then we heard from Senator Sanders as well.
Yes, he talked a lot about, he focused on supporting different groups of people, educators and groups like that, just lots of groups. And so this is just him talking about the fight for local farmers.
Family farmers under tremendous pressure all over this country. Well, you know, what we believe coming from rural communities is a rural way of life is a good way of life, right? How many people I have talked to, including Beck, who grew up on a farm, right? It is a good way of life. We're losing that. There's no reason why. We need good quality food produced in this country. There is no reason why we should not, instead of supporting these big agribusiness guys, support local farmers all across the country.
So there again, Bernie Sanders, big crowd. He said that was there. So these are folks who they've watched these past 7 months. Then they are not just sitting at home and taking it. They want to take part in events like these.
Well, and that was the big talk too, is kind of how to be a part of everything. So we'll talk about that more a little bit later, but it was like, get out of your comfort zone. You are democracy, they talked about, and just kind of, you're going to have to kind of take part in all of this to kind of make changes.
All right. Kristen, how did the Dr. Kristen Lyerly show turn out this past weekend? And what do we got coming up in our next episode?
Last weekend, we talked about Alzheimer's disease. There's a big Alzheimer's walk coming up, End Alzheimer's in Green Bay. Actually, there are walks all across the state. So we really focused on what is it like to live with Alzheimer's and to support somebody who has Alzheimer's, and the impact on caregivers and how you don't have to do this alone. They offer incredible resources, all funded by us, those of us who step up to help. So that was last week. This week, we're getting super spicy. I have a very conservative CEO, a moderate person in the middle CEO, and a kind of liberal CEO talking about tariffs and sharing their perspectives on what's happening in Northeast Wisconsin, what's happening across the country with regards to tariffs and their businesses and the economy as a whole and your own pocketbook. It's going to be an interesting conversation because these folks have some pretty big ideas and they do not share the same philosophy. So I'm very much looking forward to that conversation.
How do people get the Dr. Kristen Lyerly show?
You can find it on civicmedia.us, also anywhere where you get your podcasts.
Yes, all the places, Spotify, Apple, all of that. Come find that there as well.
That's right.
You know, we got to start doing this with Selena. She's talking to enough people here. We got to get her a podcast just for all these clips.
Oh,
you know,
my.
people that she's talking
YouTube
to.
Shorts. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
She's got to look like, do you know how big my to-do list is right now? No,
I'm so behind right now.
We're not adding anything else to it. No, I get that. And so before I turn to the sports and the Brewers yesterday, Kristen was at the Bob Uecker tribute there. Did you have a favorite moment or a favorite memory that was shared?
I did. They had an event, a whole program an hour before the show where Bob Costas was sitting behind a desk on the field like Johnny Carson. Yeah. And then he had this lineup of guests, including George Brett and Christian Yelich and Robin Yount. And my favorite moment was they went to Robin Yount, and he's a guy who doesn't do a lot of media. He's pretty quiet. But when they went to him towards the end for a comment, he had the mic upside down and started talking into the bottom of the mic. And the crowd was like, oh, no. And then he laughed and said, Uke taught me that one. and he went on to say that he had actually talked with Euchre about what was happening. He'd been dealing with a cancer diagnosis and treatment, and he asked Euchre if he was afraid of dying. And Uke said, I'm not afraid of dying. I just don't want to be there when it happens.
I love that Uke gets the biggest laugh even when he's not there.
And it comes from Robin Yount, who is not a big personality.
No.
It was delightful. The whole family came out. The family went out to the mound to do the first pitch, and the team all went with them. So the whole Brewers squad was there on the mound. I mean, literally, we were all like,
It was a moment. Everybody with Uke,
Next
everybody with Uke
classes.
on the back of their uniforms there as well.
was beautiful.
Unfortunately, the Brewers ended up losing that game. A 2-run single by the Giants in the bottom of the ninth. 4-3 was the final score there. From the heart of America's up north, live from Lake Wissota. Thanks for making this the place to spend part of your mornings. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. All righty. There we go. Okay, so Selena, we're good to go back to the 720 clips, right?
Sure.
Good. Okay. Groovy. I got a little bit more to say about the Brewers and some other sports. Okay.
Euchre wouldn't have expected to win that game. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. See, we've been on this good run lately, but we know what the bulk of Euchre's career was like for the Brewers. And it was not chasing division titles,
No.
And that's part of what made it so fun was, they're losing games, and yet he's they tell some of the best stories when they're losing because they don't want to talk about the game,
Well, and he was so self-deprecating. They had a bunch of his famous quotes up on the board, and they're just, funny thing after funny thing. But he never played for the Brewers, and he actually, a lot of people had Euchre like T-shirts and jerseys on. He was number 8, not number 9. And I took a deep dive on this yesterday. So Euchre was 8 for the Braves, 8 for the Cardinals. He had a World Series ring from the Cardinals. He was on that 1964 Cardinals team.
Yep.
But the theory is that he's number 9 for the Brewers because he didn't want to compete with Ryan Braun.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. I get it.
Yeah.
I
But
suppose
they retired a microphone. They didn't retire a number for him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I thought that was a nice touch too. So that was good.
Mhm.
The only problem with the production was they had a drone, and they overused the drone. I think Parker is agreeing with me there.
It was so overused.
It was like,
oh my God.
And the problem was we were waiting for the flyover and waiting for the flyover. We're like, is there something wrong with the plane? Well, the drone was too far low to see it arriving. So you didn't see it until it was like right on top of the stadium and coming over. Because I'm looking going, it was a very long, awkward silence, because if the drone had been up higher, you would have seen it coming.
15 seconds.
But other than that, it was good. Here we go.
Mhm.
Pat Kreitlow, Selena Heller, Dr. Kristen Lyerly, Parker Olson, all here on this Monday morning, August 25th, getting your work week going. And we've still been remembering the tributes to Bob Euchre that took place at American Family Field yesterday. And again, there were a lot of heartfelt memories, a lot of reasons why, somebody might get a little teared up. And for me, it was the opening and closing shots, drone shot coming over Wood National Cemetery, where Bob Euchre's laid to rest, which is literally across the street from the ballpark. You can't really tell because of all the trees there, but from the drone shot, you're just coming over the cemetery and in the stadium. And then they did that again at the end, coming from the stadium to the cemetery. And it was incredibly touching, reminding us that Bob Euchre also served our country in that way. Didn't just make us laugh, and was a consummate professional, like we heard in the Bob Costas quote. Even if he'd never cracked a single joke, he was still a really good baseball announcer, especially all those years when the Brewers weren't chasing division titles. Kristen, he got us through a lot of stinker games.
There were a lot of stinker games, but I think we all took him for granted in a way because we grew up with him and he was always there and he was always entertaining. The number of Brewer games that I listened to on the radio and how he just brought it to life, because with TV you see it, but with radio somebody has to create it in your mind for you, and that was such a gift. So it's just hearing so many of those calls and hearing Bob Costas, who is the GOAT of all broadcasting, acknowledge how their relationship and how great Euchre was. It was a really special moment.
It was just lovely. Let's turn back to one of the other story we're following here, and that's Selena, is the visit by Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders to Western Wisconsin to campaign for Rebecca Cook, one of the candidates running in the 3rd Congressional District, but sharing some of the other comments that he made, as well as Darren Von Ruden, who's the president of the Wisconsin Farmers Union. And Selena, let's start with what Darren Von Ruden had to say. A particular program among the many, many, many that were cut in Trump's big bloated boondoggle. Help us lead into that particular program.
Yeah, completely cut. Local food purchasing assistance program was cut, and that's helps farmers distribute their fresh and local food to underserved local communities. And, I've been talking to farmers kind of all over. Last week, I talked to Iowa farmers about that and how they were kind of hurting that they had this program cut from them. And so Darren Von Ruden talked about how Wisconsin farmers here locally are hurting from that program being cut.
The Local Foods Purchasing Assistance Program, or LFPA is what you maybe have heard it as, was a program that helped 189 farmers in the state of Wisconsin connect to the final consumer through less channels than what we most likely will have to do. President Trump cut that program. There's no more funding. Those 189 farmers this spring had to find new markets, some of which still have not found new markets for the produce, the fish, the meats, the dairy products that they were producing because of that action that was taken by the president. We need to make sure that we have common sense in DC. I hear it all the time from Republicans that there is common sense out there, but when somebody calls you a liar to your face, but he believes everything that Donald Trump says when the facts are not that, you would think that he would start to believe his own words, which he told me in a meeting in DC, and I'm talking about Representative Derek Van Orden. He called me a liar to my face, and I asked him, "Oh, do you believe everything Donald Trump says?" And he didn't answer it exactly right away, but he did say, "Yes, I do," about 30 seconds later. So he had to think about it, which means that there's problems there.
Well, that's certainly one way of putting it, that there's a problem there. So what do we do about something like that? And Senator Sanders, I believe he had some advice for the crowd rather than just booing, right?
Right. And they took questions, after Rebecca Cook talked and Bernie Sanders talked, they took questions from the crowd, and anything ranging from affordable housing, student loans, and immigration enforcement. And one was about how do we get involved? And this was Senator Sanders.
You could run for school, local city council, state legislature. We were utterly amazed. We got 7,000 people. 7,000. Well, right now, is that correct, President? 7,000 people who are now undergoing training to how to run for local and state office. Here is the simple truth, and you all know it to be true. Democracy is not a spectator sport. Right. This is not, I know you all love the Green Bay Packers, but this it's not a football game, and it's not a beauty pageant, and it's not a great concert. You are democracy, and nobody knows better than you what you need in your own lives. And it's not a reality show, right? That's what we got now. And that means that you got to get out of your comfort zone.
There was good advice. And Dr. Larley, I think that's the perfect segue to you about people who might hear all this and they're interested in running for office. I think you'd take their call.
Absolutely. Run for office. Get involved with helping somebody run for office. Join one of the local community groups that's doing community support, whether it's bringing people food or just spending time with people who are struggling to get through these difficult times. If you've never heard Bernie Sanders speak, he speaks to real people about real topics, regardless of where you land on the political spectrum. Just listen to his words because he is talking to each and every one of us, and his words ring true, truer now, I think, than ever before.
He's very inspiring too. When he came here 5 months ago, yeah, it was a big crowd and they were just cheering. And yeah,
you understand why. Selena Heller, thank you very much. Dr. Larley, hope to talk to you on Friday. Good luck this week with everything.
We'll see how things go.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Stay in touch. We'll talk to Jon Shelton from AFT-Wisconsin coming up next. You're up north. All right, friends. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just what I need. And yeah, good luck with everything. And remember, you guys, you don't have to stay out for the whole hour, from 6:30 to 7:30. But I'm really happy when you do. Just want you to know. So, all right.
I'll let you know on Thursday how things are going so that you'll know how to plan.
Totally good. All right.
I could be fun, Kristen, on Friday.
I know. That's everybody say hi to Vicodin Kristen. So
whole different show.
Yep. All right. We'll see you later.
More singing.
Bye.
More singing?
And it seems like you probably get that answer all the time on everything. We're going to be high yields for the food processors and home gardeners and farmers market type folks should have good corn, but the disease is going to be a problem for some people.
Bill Tracy keeping his eyes on Wisconsin's sweet corn crop. He's the director of the UW Sweet Corn Program. He says something like northern corn leaf blight is definitely taking a toll on some sweet corn fields in the state.
What does it mean to be a Dairyland seed difference maker? For our corn seed, it means having the industry's most advanced technology and traits to deliver exactly what Midwestern farmers need, like the next-gen rootworm protection that comes with high-performance Vorseed technology, like the ultimate above-ground pest control you'll find in proven PowerCore technology. And just like all the other powerful features of our full lineup of performance corn products designed for your soils and conditions. Find your Dairyland Seed corn difference maker at dairylandseedcorn.com.
At the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection, they know your business has always been something special. Now you can let customers know it too, in an instant, with the red and yellow Something Special from Wisconsin sticker. Joining the program gives you access to supplier and distribution information, marketing support, and a community of like-minded Wisconsin businesses. Best of all, you'll let people know that your work is done with care, quality, and love. You've always been something special. Visit somethingspecialfromwisconsin.com to make it official.
And Marathon County is already looking forward to 2026. The Wisconsin Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection has announced they'll host the 79th Alice in Dairyland Finals May 14th through the 16th next year. They want to focus in on their rich history, their beautiful rolling hills, and the woodlands surrounding the Wisconsin River and its tributaries. They also want to focus in on the diverse agriculture many people don't realize Marathon County has. Marathon County ranks #1 in ginseng, #2 in the dairy industry in Wisconsin. It also has a very vibrant maple syrup industry. Again, the Allison Dairyland Finals next year, May 14th through the 16th in Marathon County. And that's a quick update on what's happening in food news on a Monday. More available anytime at MidwestFarmReport.com. Sign up for our daily e-newsletter. You won't miss a thing. I am Farm Director Pam Yankee.
Download the Civic Media app in the Google Play or Apple App Store and take us everywhere. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
It is going to be sunny and pleasant again today. Our high in the upper 60s to near 70 this afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear. We're going to drop down into the mid 40s tomorrow. more sunshine with a high right around 70. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Temperature now 49.
Shop Verlo Mattresses Mega Mattress Sale. Get additional savings on top of our factory direct pricing. That's double the savings on your new mattress. Plus, save even more when you upgrade to an adjustable base. At Verlo, all of our mattresses are locally crafted and backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee. So hurry in and get savings on top of savings during Verlo's Mega Mattress Sale. Wake up. Sleep better. Verlo.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering.
All right, we're back now, and we're visiting with AFT-Wisconsin President, Professor Jon Shelton, and a column that he wrote looking ahead toward the 2026 governor's race. The column is entitled, "The Candidate We Need and Deserve for Governor in 2026." It was actually kind of a joint project with State Senator Chris Larson. Jon Shelton's here with us now. Jon, how are you?
I'm doing great today, Pat. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I appreciate you visiting with us to talk about this. Obviously, the thing that gets talked about most is the who's going to run for governor. And, you know, we've got some people throwing their hats in the ring for that, for other offices as well. This gets more into the what, doesn't it? It's like, what kind of a person would you want to see as a governor, rather than, you know, recruiting any single person? You're looking, what would you call this? Characteristics, values, positions?
Really, we're looking at who's going to build the kind of relationships with social movements, labor unions that are going to be necessary to actually defend democracy in this country and build the kind of state that we all deserve. So, you know, I started thinking about this. You know, I'm president of AFT-Wisconsin. We have local unions in Tech College, K-12, the UW system, state employees, public defenders are actually affiliated with AFT-Wisconsin. So we have this very broad constituency of different unions. And actually, a couple weeks before Governor Evers announced that he wasn't going to run again, Senator Chris Larson, who I'm sure many of your listeners know from the Milwaukee area, he and I were just sort of texting about it, right? I mean, there was all this chatter about what Evers was going to do. Was he going to run? Was he not going to run? And I remember I was in Woodman's, you know, listeners know Woodman's, right? It's kind of cavernous, and texting the whole time I was there. And so it ended up keeping me in Woodman's for like 3 hours, you know, just stopping and texting. And we were like, you know, whether it's Evers or it's somebody else, we really need a transformative kind of politics. And so that prompted us to work with a group of other folks in the state, some legislators, but also a lot of other educator union leaders in particular signed on to this kind of statement that we wrote. And it just so happened to come out the day before Evers announced he wasn't running again. And again, it wasn't about, you know, putting anybody on blast. It was just saying, like, we have an incredible opportunity in 2026, and whether it's Evers or somebody else, we have to have somebody commit to the idea that you have to work with social movements. You have to work with labor unions to not just show up, but like make their fight your fight. And that's who we have to have in 2026. So, you know, I've kind of been beating that drum since then. And I think this letter is all the more important since Evers announced he's not running, and now we're going to have an open primary. And so what I've been encouraging people to do, I think a lot of times labor unions and other progressive groups have this kind of idea that, like, well, let's get down to brass tacks and look at all these different policy positions and figure out which candidate is going to be the right candidate. And of course, you should look at those things. But in AFT-Wisconsin, we're really looking at this as an opportunity, you know, to kind of have the sort of conversation on a state level that we didn't really have at the national level in 2024 about who is going to be a winning candidate, who's going to fight for the values that we know that we need to build the democracy we deserve. And so, what I've been saying is, like, any candidate who wants to get in front of our members, we're going to do that. We want to give them that opportunity. I'll go to campaign events, even though our union maybe hasn't endorsed anybody yet. I'll go to campaign events and stand with these candidates on the Democratic side, because, frankly, I think it's a really good opportunity for us to have the kind of open conversation about where we want our party to go. And we've got already a couple of good candidates who have announced, and I think there'll be a lot more. And we're just really looking forward to seeing who's going to stand with us.
John, how did we get to a place where if somebody is pegged as, the quote unquote, the union candidate, that just does not go over well with people to the center right of the spectrum here, and why you see not nearly enough Democrats willing to embrace that they are pro-union? They're not just pro-worker, but that they believe in labor unions, and that, frankly, labor unions becoming weaker in this era of what I still refer to as Reaganism is part of why the American worker has fallen so much further behind, the people in the executive suite. How do you overcome decades of that kind of characterization or mischaracterization of liberal politicians?
Well, Pat, I could go into a really long history lesson here that your listeners probably don't want to hear unless they want to take one of my classes. But the short answer to that is, starting about 50 years ago, activists within the Democratic Party pushed away from labor unions and actually civil rights too, sort of saying that these are special interests, right, that somehow don't reflect the center of American politics. People like Bill Clinton and the Democratic Leadership Council, starting in the 80s. And that really kind of trickled down, I think, to a lot of state parties. I really do think that in Wisconsin, we're starting to see more and more really, really good Democrats who understand the relationship between not just being pro-worker, but pro-union. There's a lot I could point to. Hopefully, some of the folks I'm going to point to here in just a second, like other folks who maybe I don't mention, don't feel left out. But people like Chris Larson, Francesca Hong in Madison, up in Green Bay, Ahmad Rivera-Wagner, Greta Neubauer, the minority leader in the assembly, has been very pro-worker, very pro-union, has always showed up for us when we needed something in AFT-Wisconsin. So there's lots of others, but those are a few I can think of off the top of my head that I think are great. And it's not a surprise that most of those folks are relatively new to the legislature, right? So we are seeing more and more of those folks at the state level. That's really exciting. But to me, a more interesting question is, why aren't more, why isn't every single Democrat in the state embracing that? And these are, you look at these sort of ideas and people see them as being far left or something, but they're really just common sense, right? I mean, most people want universal health care in this country. In Wisconsin, in this country more broadly, public opinion polls are supporting labor unions in insanely high numbers, right? Like, we have the highest public approval for labor unions since the 1950s, when you had like 35% of workers who were in unions. And among young people, it's even higher, right? I mean, there'll be new polling that comes out this Labor Day, but polling that just came out last Labor Day said that among people under the age of 30, labor unions poll at 87% public approval. And among people under the age of 30, the idea of striking polls at about 90% public approval. These are, you have a growing amount of people in the state of Wisconsin who are living with massive amounts of income inequality, can't find great jobs, can't find good housing, are getting nickel and dimed by health insurance if they even have it. And these are the issues that, like, they're common sense. And so every Democrat in the state should be unapologetically talking about strengthening labor, not just because it's good morally, but because it's good politically and it's good institutionally, right? Democrats have been at their strongest in this country when they have been backed by a really strong labor movement. Republicans understood this. This is why they went after Act 10 and why they made Wisconsin into a right to work for less state. So, it's in their interest to do it as well. I'm really encouraged to see more and more Dems doing that, and I think it's going to continue.
We're talking to Jon Shelton. He's president of AFT-Wisconsin, and what kind of values and qualities he'd like to see in a candidate for governor in 2026. There is a group, the Fighting Oligarchy Coalition, that backs an economic justice bill of rights. You have hit on many of the points here, not just support for unions, healthcare, public education and childcare, the environment, a justice system that is fair. But I want to get to this particular point because it isn't all about unions and workers. There is a point here that I think is very important: equitable access to capital, investments, financial institutions, retirement. And yeah, there are things for individuals in there, but what that tells me when I see equitable access to capital is it says to the small business entrepreneurs of Wisconsin that we see the struggles that you face to create jobs in this state as well. Again, having to compete with the big boys at the corporate level.
Yeah, no, 100%. And, the first thing I want to just make sure listeners are aware of is AFT-Wisconsin was the first union to officially sign up to be part of the Fighting Oligarchy Coalition. We're really proud of that. There's a number of other really good progressive groups involved. And all those other rights that you mentioned are important. But certainly, the idea of having, the right to capital, the right to equitable ability to earn a living as a small business person, that goes back actually to the Economic Bill of Rights that FDR pushed for in the 1940s, right? And so, you think about it, we have a progressive tradition of this country of being able to facilitate that, right? Helping small business owners at the expense of capital. And, you look at, North Dakota, for example, which has it's a weird state to have this, but like state-owned grain shelters, or grain storages, and a state-owned bank, right? I mean, imagine if instead of having to rely on the big banking companies, there was a state, state-owned bank in Wisconsin that could provide loans to small businesses to help them thrive in the face of capital, right? It also, it fits into everything else on the list of economic rights as well. I mean, the idea of, if you want to support small farmers in the state, you've got to do something to regulate CAFOs and these large agribusinesses that put their thumb on the scale of our politics. So it's all related, and you're absolutely right. Like there's most definitely a place for small business owners to thrive in an equitable and democratic economy.
It is a good reminder that, the progressive traditions that we know, a lot of people think they all came off of factory floors and strike breakers, but no, there was very much out on the prairies, this sense from farmers that, again, they were going up against the big boys and somebody needed to stand with them. So this crosses rural and urban lines. It involves, small businesses as well as the employees who are in it. So you're making the case that there is a much larger coalition out there than maybe people want to appreciate. So to wrap this up going forward, now that you've explained some of what you really want to look for in a candidate, what next steps are you taking, or are you asking people to take as we start finding out who all wants to be governor next year?
Yeah, that's a great question, Pat. And, I'll just say first and foremost, like, I like the way that you're talking about the urban-rural stuff, because we had a Union Leadership Institute this summer, AFT-Wisconsin did, and we had it in your neck of the woods in Chippewa Falls at the Wisconsin Farmers Union building there, right? Beautiful building for folks who don't know it. So we're totally invested in doing that. Here's what I think people should do. Get these candidates in front of your communities and your members. We're going to be asking any candidate who wants to come. And if you're listening to this and you're a candidate or you're thinking about being a candidate, let me know, because I'm going to get you in front of our members at back to school events. We're going to be having a big demonstration on September 18th for the UW system. We would love to have candidates there, right? Show us that you're going to show up for us and fight with us. And anybody who's not, say, a member of a union, invite people to come to, community gatherings, local town halls, local, city council coffee clutches, that kind of thing. Get them in front of you. See who shows up. Those are the people that you should support, right? This primary is going to take a long time. It's going to give candidates every opportunity to show that they're going to show up, and that's the candidate who should be our governor.
Jon Shelton is president of the AFT-Wisconsin. John, it's great to catch up with you as always. I know how busy you've been. I appreciate you spending a few minutes with us today.
Absolutely, my brother.
Still to come, an updated forecast for this Monday from meteorologist Brittany Merlot, and at 8:30, State Representative Francesca Hong. Live from the lake, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. And how's Jimmy today?
What's up? How are you guys doing?
How was week one?
It was running clock in the second quarter.
Oh no!
Week one. We are very young. But we gave up 22 points in about 3 minutes at the end of the second quarter, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna get this thing moving." So
keep her moving. I hear you.
Yeah, well, it's going to be even tougher this week. We see a much larger school here in week 2, so just got to keep everybody healthy and on to our conference. So
that's right. It's on to week 2.
Exactly.
How many non-conference games do you get?
In Wisconsin, you get 2 non-conference and 7 conference. But this year, for the first time, all 9 games matter to qualify for the playoffs. That's never been the case before. It used to be just conference games, but now every single game you play matters. So that's why a lot of teams are rescheduling for next year, like including us. We're getting a more competitive week 2 matchup, at least for us anyway, just because we can't hang with the high Division 5s. I think we're the 17th smallest school in all of 11-player football. So
wow, okay,
we're tiny. We're teeny tiny, except for our right guard, who is 380 pounds, is a 9th grader. So.
Oh boy,
he a big boy, 6'5", 6'6". He a big boy.
I'll see him in the recruiting class pretty quick here.
Yeah, he's little. He makes me look small. So, and I'm a big guy myself. So.
Oh man.
But anyway, as far as sports stuff, obviously Brewers are still dominating things. Packers have their final roster cut downs coming up. They made a minor trade for a lineman yesterday. And then if you want to talk any high school stuff, I can handle that too. So
I know you can. I mean, and were there any surprises out there week 1 wise?
I mean, not really. I mean, it's week 1, so it's hard to call anything a big surprise. I mean, it's high school sports, so there weren't like any defending state champions getting run off the field or anything. But
yeah,
a couple of them did lose, but they're all in very competitive matchups in week 1. So
okay, all righty, gotcha. All right, we'll get going in 1 minute.
Sounds good.
Because of the tax code. Did you know that if you own a modest house in Richland Center and a billionaire owns 2 yachts, 3 planes, 4 Picassos, 8 racehorses, and $900 billion of stock, you will pay more in wealth taxes than the billionaire because of the tax code? I think that's a bunch of baloney. I'm Chuck Collins. I'm a patriotic millionaire.
$7:52 now on this Monday morning, August 25th. It is 49 degrees here in the Chippewa Valley. La Crosse, you're at 52 right now. Oshkosh, 50. And in front of the Amory Family Restaurant, it is 50 degrees as well, as we bring in Jimmie Kaska from Boscobel to talk about week 1 of high school football and the Brewers and the Packers. Even the Badgers, they open up the season this Thursday, hosting Miami of Ohio, Thursday night, 8 o'clock at Camp Randall. So I guess the temperature, gives it all the way. It's football season, Jimmy.
I know throwing the windows open this weekend has been amazing. I mean, 40 degrees overnight, even here in the Valley in southwestern Wisconsin. I mean, this is great. Definitely, it's football season. And I think week 1 of high school football, it really kind of led into that. And then you get to, the Badgers this week, the Packers having, the roster stuff happening this week and the first game coming up. It's a fantastic time of year. Love it.
How did things go for you in week one for your team?
Well, basketball is young, 22 of 34. Our freshmen and sophomores, we did fall, but it's going to be that way for a young team this year. You're going to improve week to week and have fun with that. But week one brought a lot of really interesting matchups. Week one in high school football is always kind of even in broadcasting, I like to set it up by saying, what happens in week one doesn't necessarily matter the rest of the way, because it's kind of let's see what we got and then adjust from there. Well, now this year with the new playoff matrix, every single game matters. So week one, you can't just say, well, we tried week one, we scheduled a hard opponent and it didn't go well, but we have all these things we work on, a lot of fumbles, penalties, et cetera, to work out. Well, now it all matters. And we got to see some really great matchups. There were 3 of the 14 state finalists last year that actually lost their opener. But when you look at the matchups, you're like, okay, there's a reason why that happened. Stratford's won 3 straight state titles, and they play a rival in Mosinee, right? A great Central Wisconsin matchup. Mosinee got the win on Friday. Catholic Memorial, which is in Waukesha, they play up every year as a Division III, Division IV size school. They actually played for a long time at a conference that was pretty much just D1 and D2 schools, and they took on Notre Dame in the Division III title game. They played Franklin, a D1 team in the opener, and Franklin was able to win that one. So you just look around the state at some of these week one matchups, and they're entertaining. They're fantastic for fans, observers, everything. But these week one games, when you get to later in the year, you'll look back on these and say, well, boy, the team looks a lot different than then. Week one's where you try things out and see what works and what doesn't. So,
well, it works that way all the way through. I mean, when we get to baseball, the Brewers, the first couple of weeks were nothing like, what we've got now, not just the results, but the roster as well. But let's stick with football. And speaking of rosters, the Packers won their final preseason game on Saturday against Seattle, 20-7. A little bit of limited practice from Jordan Love after having surgery on that non-throwing thumb. The season opener is September 7th at Lambeau against the Detroit Lions, a 3:25 start when we get started there. But, training camp, what do we got coming here? More roster moves?
Yeah, so today is going to be really interesting. Mike Clemens and I was actually just talking earlier this morning. We were talking about what might happen today. For what it's worth, Mike is the guy who is following the Packers. He's the one in Green Bay at training camp.
Mm-hmm.
And he just left me a note this morning saying, I don't think anything crazy is going to happen today, but be ready just in case something does. So he's not expecting a whole lot of drama today. The Packers made a trade for a lineman from Philadelphia, between yesterday and today, but he's not expecting a whole lot of drama in the final roster cuts that come today for the Packers. Packers, by the way, you look at preseason games and you think, okay, well, this is definitely going to be the precursor to how things all look. But I don't know how much you could read into the preseason for the Packers, other than they like the team that I coach are a very young team again this year, and they certainly have some capable playmakers. But if you're following along with Mike Clemens, he's not expecting anything too dramatic to come in the way of roster cuts.
All right. From the Brewers standpoint, falling again to the San Francisco Giants. Trevor McGill blowing another save, 2 in a row. Brewers are up 3-2 in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs when McGill gave up a 2-run shot, 2-run single. Final score: Brewers lose 4-3. But Willie Adames, he had a good return back to American Family Field. Nice welcome.
You got some cheers, got some booze. You
got the beers. Well, when you hit the first pitch out of the park, you get that mixed thing of I'm giving you a standing ovation as I'm booing you at the same time. I mean, that's love. That's how you show love.
The thing about Willie is that what was great was seeing the cleats he wore for yesterday, because yesterday was the Bob Uecker tribute.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny. We got the email last week as affiliates, here on the Civic Media Network. We get the email saying, by the way, affiliates, we're going to have a special 10-minute extended pregame across the network for this Bob Uecker tribute. While we're sitting here an hour later, the pregame show hasn't even started, and we're still doing the tribute to Bob Uecker. Well, Adames had the cleats, the special custom cleats. All the Brewers players had Uecker. Everything right down to the balls and strikes counter on the video board had a microphone.
Little microphones. I love that.
Yeah, it was really, really cool to see. What a great day. I mean, the Brewers didn't win. That's the part that sucks, but everything else about it was so wonderful. So what a great way to tribute one of baseball's greatest.
But Kristen Lyerly said it kind of is in keeping because we've been spoiled lately with the Brewers, but for a big chunk of Uke's career, there were games like this. So it's almost in keeping. Brewers play Arizona. They come to town for a 4-game homestand. Coverage begins at 6:05 this evening on some Civic Media stations. And one final note here, I think you'll find interesting. For the first time in 4 years, Major League Baseball is returning to Iowa, the Field of Dreams game, in a new different site, but it will feature the Minnesota Twins playing the Phillies in a regular season game sometime in August of next year. It will count as a home game for the Twins. Major League Baseball will reveal its 2026 schedule tomorrow. That would be a fun game to go to.
Yeah, you know what? In the Field of Dreams, I was just there last summer, actually, for a youth baseball tournament. It's a cool trip to make once, and it's not that far into Iowa. So if you haven't been there, I think it's worth going just once to go check out and see what that's about. That's pretty fun.
Civic Media Sports Director Jimmie Kaska. Jimmie, thank you so much. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Coming up in our 8 o'clock hour, we will be talking to State Representative Francesca Hong from Madison about her travels around the state and find out what she's planning to do next year. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. All right.
I think you were probably worried I was going to go on a run by a team-by-team breakdown of high school football there for a minute, but I just wanted to highlight a couple of the more interesting ones. Just for
I like that. Anytime we can talk about hometowns, that's fine by me.
I was trying to find the teams that were kind of closer to a signal, but a lot of the big games didn't involve teams that we actually broadcast. Like we'll have some of that on our airwaves this year.
You can. Well, again, we've got La Crosse, Eau Claire, Amory, and then Oshkosh. So in these breaks here, anything sports wise that gets into those communities, you go right ahead and bring it up.
Got it. I probably should have mentioned the Onalaska West Salem game then. But anyway, all right. Thank you guys. I'll talk to you Wednesday.
All right. We'll see you.
Thanks, Jimmy.
All righty. Let's see. For 8 o'clock, we got Brittany. And I'll probably do the fake electors thing again. And what else we got going on here? Oh, I got to get that Teacher of the Year one out. Okay. So, okay. All right. I'm going to go look for some stuff. I'll see you in a little bit.
92.7 WMDX News. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. One library at UW-Madison is now closed and another will follow, all because of federal budget cuts. The Astronomy, Mathematics, and Physics Library shut its doors on Friday. The Wisconsin State Journal reports the Social Work Library is next and will close in the upcoming school year. It's been part of the campus since 1972. The university is cutting its budget by 5% across most departments and 7% in others. Some campus libraries are consolidating, and at least 3 of them are shortening their hours. Some materials will be put into shelved storage, others will be moved to different areas. And volunteers from all over Wisconsin are helping folks in Milwaukee after the flooding. Here's meteorologist Brittany Merlot.
The Red Cross Wisconsin has workers and volunteers from all across the state to help with flood relief in Milwaukee.
And we have pulled volunteers from all 5 of our chapters to come and help out with the response to the flooding.
That's Jennifer Warren, Regional Communications Director for Red Cross of Wisconsin.
People that have gone through the flooding, they're overwhelmed. They're tired and they're looking for some help.
And volunteers are still needed, from on-the-ground help to even remote work from home. She says it's fulfilling and meaningful.
A moment, where something that you experience really touched you. Impact moment like that, and it kind of explains that's why you do what we're doing. You know what I mean? You have to be, I would say, compassionate.
You can sign up to volunteer right now at redcross.org. For Civic Media News, I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot.
And I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
The Brewers face the D-backs. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball, it's the Brewers and Arizona Diamondbacks tonight in Milwaukee, the first of a 4-game series running through this Thursday. Yesterday, a poignant tribute to Bob Uecker. Unfortunately, the Brewers losing the game to the Giants 4-3 after San Francisco scored twice in the ninth. Brewers manager Pat Murphy.
God, I wish we could have got that for Uecker. What a great crowd, and is this such great turnout to honor such an incredible man, and just a great event. And I didn't think there's any way that the baseball gods would bestow this on us. But you look at the Giants, like I said yesterday, they're built to win.
NFL, the Packers made a trade acquiring Darian Kennard, an offensive tackle from the Philadelphia Eagles. Green Bay giving up a 6th-round pick in the 2027 draft. They have to reduce their roster to 53 players by 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Racing at the Milwaukee Mile, Wisconsin State Fair. Christian Rasmussen, the surprise winner in his first IndyCar win. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Connecting audiences, powering brands. This is Civic Media. Learn more at civicmedia.us/advertise.
It is going to be sunny and pleasant again today. Our high in the upper 60s to near 70 this afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear. We're going to drop down into the mid 40s. Tomorrow, more sunshine with a high right around 70. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it's 51.
Now is the moment we've been waiting for. With new treatments emerging in the fight against Alzheimer's and all other dementia, now is the time for hope and for action. Held in over 600 communities nationwide, the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's is the world's largest fundraiser for care, support, and research to fight the disease. So get out, get moving, and join WMDX at the Walk to End Alzheimer's on Sunday, October 5th at Warner Park in Madison. Join the movement at ALZ.
All right, let's see. Brittany's here. John's here. Gordy's here.
Hi.
The gang is here.
We're here. Hey, Pat.
Hi. Guys, have a good weekend?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. How can you not have a good weekend after this weather? Oh, my God.
Everyone is saying that, but Pat.
We definitely had different weather weekends, yes.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Oh, it was overcast and windy and cold and gross.
Wow.
So yeah, there was a divide someplace, but I'm happy for all of you. So
well, yeah, you should be. Because we count down here. We're a major market. I mean, this is it.
10 seconds.
I'll get you. I get it.
Live across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here is the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
At 8:06 on this Monday morning, August 25th. Nice to have you here. Coming up later this hour, State Representative Francesca Hong from Madison, and we're going to talk about her odometer. Which definitely indicates she's been places other than Madison, and talking to people about the 2026 election and the qualities to look for in candidates. Maybe anything she'd like to be doing differently in 2026. We'll talk to her in just a bit, along with John and Gordy from our Madison station, WMDX, in moments. But first, Brittany Merlot has got a forecast for us. Brittany, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, John and Gordy are here too, and John and Gordy, we're comparing notes, and clearly y'all had a different weather weekend than me. And I don't know if there was like one little black rain cloud hovering over the Chippewa Valley or what, but there was like wind chills and squalls and all that. What are you guys looking so happy about?
It was beautiful here. Yeah, we don't know what you're complaining about.
Yeah.
We had great weather both days. It's gorgeous again today. No, it was really nice.
Brittany, where did I go wrong? Is there
and then cloud following you? No, you're right. You're right. We did have those blasts of showers, crazy winds with them too. A lot of overcast, cloudy skies up north throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
So I get why you're complaining. I, however, didn't mind it. It was like hiking weather. Get outside and enjoy it. Go mountain biking, do some stuff and not sweat. That's what I liked. But now we're all rocking the flannels out here this morning. 37 degrees in Hayward still right now. It is the coldest spot in the state. The rest of us are in the upper 40s to mid 50s. It's bright, it's beautiful, it's blue skies out there, no wildfire smoke, still got a northwest breeze, making it very comfortable. Highs today hitting about the mid 60s. That's about 10 to 15 degrees below where we should be right now. So a little blast of fall-like weather here. We are going to be going a little bit warmer tomorrow, just a few degrees into those upper 60s to low 70s, and then a little bit warmer into Wednesday, maybe some low to mid 70s. But by Wednesday night, we're looking at a cold front moving through again, which is going to spark some more rain chances. So wet weather Wednesday night cools us down a little bit into Thursday and Friday, back to hovering around 70 or so. And then as we go into the weekend, Labor Day weekend, we are going to warm things up, mid 70s to upper 70s, and we are going to hit the 80s by next week. So summer weather isn't gone. We've just got a little break from it. Open those windows, get that breeze in. Oh my gosh, it's so nice. I'm loving it.
So I had to close my windows because it was getting so cold in this place over the weekend. Yes. Tony's over here saying Pat needs to do more mountain biking. Pat's perfectly happy where he is right here and just gets paid to complain about the weather. So that totally works for me. Although I like your attitude, rocking the flannel.
You too.
I had to put on a long sleeve shirt this morning. It was rocking the flannel. I like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Brittany. Appreciate
You're
it so
welcome.
much. Talk to you tomorrow. John and Gordy are here from our Madison station, WMDX. Catch them 6 to 8 if you're in the Madison area or on the Civic Media app, guys. So clearly you had a better weather weekend down there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the forecast looks fantastic. Go out and buy some more brats and get ready for some more great, beautiful, sunny, cool days.
Grilling
this is my
weather.
favorite time of the year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been very blessed that both my daughters, as they became adults and left the nest, and now they're in different states and everything, but there's always been at least one period every summer for these past 12 years, whatever it's been, that we've been empty nesters, that one or both of them come, and if they come differently, they still overlap. So at some point we've had everybody here under one roof, and it was looking like that might not happen this year, but it actually is going to happen this week, coming up for Labor Day weekend, which is nice.
Yeah.
But I bring that up to say maybe part of my grousing about the weather is, obviously we're going to be doing pontoon rides and things like that, which is a lot easier in the 80s than say the upper 60s.
Yeah.
Where you have
Right.
hey, this is really refreshing,
Yeah.
isn't it, kids? Like Jacques Cousteau on the Arctic Ocean, doing some exploring. But we will try to make the best.
Well, congratulations, Pat, because you're one of the very first boaters that actually considers that about the people and passengers they have on their boats. Because some go out there in the bitter cold and say, "Hey, let's go out in that boat and have some fun."
Sure.
I'm sitting there suffering and freezing to death, with water splashing on me, and you're at least. You're at least, I guess, considerate of the people on that pontoon boat of yours.
Well, definitely, because if you hit the wave the wrong way and you end up, splashing everybody, you never hear the end of it. So, you try to be a good boater out there.
You've
But of
done
course,
that purposely, though. I know.
I used to back in the day when we had more of a deck boat, and we'd pull the girls and their friends went on inner tubes, behind the boat. And I look back now in horror at the kind of dad that I was, the ones where as you're pulling them on the tube and you're thinking, oh, this is fun, this is very nice, and you look back at them and they're yawning at you. They're like goading you, like, come on, Dad. And so, of course, okay, I'll show you what Dad can do. They whip it a few times, throw them so far off the tube that Child Protective Services really should have shown up at that
They're
point.
waiting on shore.
Yeah. And yet they laugh about it because, if you didn't break a limb, you had a good time, I guess,
Well, I'd go by their advice. Kids are always so good with judgmental things like that. Yes,
you can't do it on the road, so you can't
really
drive
can't.
faster,
Yeah,
Dad.
well, I used to do it on the road, so I guess maybe I was more dangerous.
Oh, that would make everybody scream. That's true. What do you guys do for fun and excitement over the weekend?
Well, let's see. Our weekend really began with the Madison night market on Thursday night, and that was great.
That was cool and breezy.
Again, weather was wonderful. It couldn't have been better. And we had a big crowd here in downtown Madison, walking up and down State Street, visiting all the booths. And our booth was well attended. And
we had a lot of street musicians down here too.
We saw our old friend Art Paul Schlosser, who's sort of a Madison institution. He's been a busker, street musician since the 70s, I think.
Oh yeah,
at least. And so he's always out there. And he wrote us a song just for us, just for John and Gordy.
Yeah,
right on the spot.
Could you pull that up? You don't mind hearing just a piece of it,
Now he's kind of eccentric. He's a little different, and so do we have that, Dom? He's looking for it.
Okay.
We'll get it in a second. Now he's got it.
He's got it right here. Let's
listen just a little bit. Yeah. He's a little different.
You get an idea.
Okay.
John Gordy in the morning. Is this a threat or is this a warning? John and Gordy in the morning. Who will be their guest? What will they be performing? John and Gordy in the morning. Are they funny or are they boring?
There you go. So,
wow,
it's all kind of he's very much in the moment.
Yeah.
I would say I wouldn't say that he stuck the landing on that one. Are they funny or boring? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
He's got to, if he's going to do that, he's got to end it with a flourish, because most people don't understand when you're singing the national anthem, it actually ends with a question. Can you imagine if we all sang it as if it were a question at the end? Oh, say, does that Star Spangled Banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That's interesting.
Yeah,
put that accent on it.
I know. So you got to stick that thing. So I'm sure it's being workshopped. There will be many more songs will be sung.
Art Paul, he's written so many songs. He's actually been featured. Was it on Jimmy Kimmel?
I think it was. Yes. I think
so. Yeah, they had some sort of contest, and he sent in some stuff, and they featured him on the show.
You guys literally are living the phrase "minstrels will sing songs of you." That you've already got that going for you.
That's it. Yeah, it's funny because Gordy went across the street, held his phone up, recorded him, and he did that song ad lib.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
See, I love that with the ones that can, like, on Whose Line Is It Anyway, or any improv stuff, when they can do a song like that, because you're not only, looking for the rhymes and matching the music, but by the way, you should be funny in the process. Wayne Brady was always famous for that on Whose Line.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling with that comedy club downstairs there at the building that you're in at the top of State Street, you've probably heard a few people that can improv music with the best of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they come through quite often, but back to Art Paul. He's written he's a prolific songwriter. Let's put it that way. He's written lots and lots of things. But Madison being a music town, some of the musicians here have picked out some of the songs that he's written and produced them, at a real recording studio, and it's actually a really good CD with some of the best of Madison musicians taking some of his kind of odd lyrics and putting them to really good music and made a great CD.
That's right. Yeah. You can hear that on Spotify. It's got a whole bunch of stuff there.
See, the closest we get to that is, after several drinks, somebody will play touch tunes on their phone and we'll all drunkenly yell out the lyrics to American Pie, for 12 minutes.
Well, whatever works for you, I guess.
Whatever talent we can get here. Talking to John and Gordy from down in Madison. I've been meaning to ask you about a story that was in the Isthmus newspaper down there a couple of weeks back, and just about the headline is Epic employees. Epic is the big medical records company down there. And I don't know how many people work for Epic, but Epic employees flood Madison's dating scene. And the chances that if you, swipe right, you're going to land on someone who is a coworker, and how tough that is when you've got a great big company town, which I don't, maybe people don't think of Madison as a company town, but when it comes to Epic, I mean, you guys can't shake a stick without hitting an Epic employee, I would imagine.
That's right. Most of these high rises, the new high rises, are occupied by Epic employees. It's true. They're all over. They're not just in Verona where Epic is located, but they're really in every part of our city, especially downtown.
Yeah,
I even
downtown.
think they even have shuttles that go out to Epic.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
And I can't imagine, because I don't know that there's a company policy on it, but dating coworkers, that's fraught with peril wherever you go.
Yeah.
And
especially the best way to meet somebody, though, I think. I'm sorry. I like to break the rules,
you know, you got to find a friend somewhere.
Right, exactly.
It's well, plus it also says Epic's campus headquarters, it's 1,100 acres.
Yeah.
And I've got to think that, you know, it's not like you're dating the person in the cubicle right next to you, right?
No,
I mean, if
right,
if you've got that many employees, it's fine. Unlike
it's a fantasy land
Now-
out there, Pat.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, they have castles out there. They have barns where they have offices in barns that they built specifically for Epic. I mean, it is a gorgeous place. It's like Disneyland.
Yeah. I think you can take tours, right?
Yeah, they have tours down there.
Yeah. The thing about Epic too, the thing that I've learned in the last couple of years is these Epic employees, they come in, they pay them a lot of money. I mean, they get paid very, very well for what they do. And a lot of it's software, medical software kind of thing.
But
the thing is, they don't last that long. They get burned out very quickly. So they have a high turnover rate.
Yeah.
They might stay a year and a half, 2 years, and then they're on to some other, high paying, high tech job. So there's a lot of turnover.
Well, then that way, I mean, the dating scene is like, oh, gee, I got to go. I got transferred. So sorry.
Exactly.
Look what time it is. My plane is leaving. So
right.
I guess it'll work for them. We're talking to John and Gordy from our Civic Media station in Madison, WMDX. And coming up in 15 minutes, we're going to be talking to State Representative Francesca Hong about the 2026 campaign and what's a legislator from Madison doing traveling all across the state. We'll be talking to her about that in just a little bit. First, a reminder that the Brewers lost to the San Francisco Giants 4-3. Trevor McGill with another blown save, but hopefully we'll get a chance to turn things around in this Arizona series. Arizona coming to town for 4 games, starting this evening at 6:05 for the pregame. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around. My oldest grandson turns 19 today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Joining
Have you
the
already
airport.
talked about Bob Euchre Day yesterday?
Oh yeah, in and out. But I want to get your thoughts on that as well. Obviously,
I have the cut. Do you want to hear the cut?
Which one?
The Brewers released it on X. It's 1 minute 35 seconds with Bob Euchre in it, and somebody just saying how wonderful it was to cook out and go out to the, the parking lot and stuff like that. And
yeah,
has some nice quotes from Bob Euchre too.
Absolutely, yeah. About 1 minute 35, you said. And
Yep.
Dom, you're good with that? You got that there?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Nope, I would love to do that. Let's see. Badgers apparently open up this Thursday night against Miami of Ohio. Is that, I mean, every Badger game is a big deal, but is it kind of like preseason? Do things really get going once the Big Ten season gets going, or is Thursday night going to be crazy down there?
Well,
Boy,
I
asking
stay
us
clear.
about sports, Pat.
I meant the environment. I meant the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's Badger crazy. I don't know. I live in that neighborhood. I live near Camp Randall, a few blocks away.
He's a few blocks
So
away.
I try to offer up parking in my front yard, but
no one's going to pay $50 to park in this yard, though.
Put a
I'm a
sign up
little
like
too far. I'm about 6 blocks away, actually. So.
Put up a sign that just says like Tesla's only, and then you can charge $100 because you know
There you go.
There you go.
I should do that.
Yeah, we protect your Tesla.
Yeah. Any progress on getting the home car charger?
No, actually, but I do have a new electrician working on it, and I truly believe in these guys. They've actually put my electrical into my house a number of times. So yes, I think I'm going to get someplace on this someday so soon. God, this is so frustrating.
Sounds good. All right. About 20 seconds here.
All right.
All right.
Remember, you can follow my team at Up North News on social media. We're now on Blue Sky, also Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and the Dumpster Fire, formerly known as Twitter. Just search for Up North News WI when doing so. We're catching up with John and Gordy down in Madison, and we'll talk a bit about one of the common themes this morning everywhere across the state was the celebration of life for Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker. And guys, I mean, I knew it was appointment viewing for me. I really enjoyed watching that ahead of the game. Was it something you guys got a peek at as well?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I saw some of the highlights. Yeah, I couldn't watch it while it was happening, but I did see some of the things that they had with Bob Uecker or Bob Costas talking with Robin Yount. That was really
And you
really
got
something.
you got to think too. A couple of days ago in Wrigley Field, they had Bob Uecker doing the 7th inning stretch.
Yeah, they had video
as
of
a
that.
tribute to that. That was a wonderful moment. And now, of course, the Brewers put out on X a post that read, "We dedicate today to a larger-than-life legend, a baseball icon, the voice of Brewers baseball forever, Bob Uecker." And I have audio from that. You want to listen to it?
Yeah, let's give it a listen.
All right.
Yelich sends one to right center and deep. Get up! Get up! Get out of here and gone for Yelich!
To me, Bob Uecker just symbolizes the joy of summer. Sitting on our front porch and bringing up a little transistor radio and dialing up the old AM station.
83 beautiful degrees at game time tonight. Here it is, strike called, and we are underway.
Cooking out, brought some hamburgers with family and friends, just always on in the background, and became a familiar part of the family.
Swing of the liner, base hit to left, and there it is!
Summers, fishing, and there's my dad, and there's Bob on the radio calling the game.
Struck him out!
His little side stories that he would go on, that's where the magic was.
If you didn't enjoy baseball, then you didn't like sliced bread either. Brewers head for Arizona on their up-and-coming trip. Out there, you can hold a hot dog out your car window and cook it. Can't hit a curveball with 4 baseball bats and a tennis racket, too.
All you got to do is turn the dial, and Uecker was always there. Through the radio, I felt like I was literally there. Feel the emotion, the passion, excitement in the call.
We're going to smash up the middle, base hit to center. Here can Gomez, a throw, and the Brewers win. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for being Brewer fans. And we'll get together again.
There it is.
Wow. I mean, again, the man was just the soundtrack of summer. And again, even if the team wasn't doing well, and there were many years where the team was not doing well, but
People listen to Bob.
You wanted to hear Bob. You wanted to hear the stories. You still liked baseball as a soundtrack. But I know Bob would also tell you it's a lot better when they're winning.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Sure.
Well, there was a great combination of Bob Uecker, and I'm not sure who the other announcer was at the time, but they had great stories, great conversations, even when the Brewers were doing horribly or the game was kind of in a lull. They had great stories.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, Bob Uecker was teamed with Pat Hughes for a long time.
Yes.
Before Pat Hughes became the voice of the Cubs. So
That's
it was
right.
always
That's right.
So it was always great when
Yes.
the Brewers and the Cubs played because they would go into each other's booths, and visit with each other. And they both had terrific stories.
And Corey,
just always
Corey,
fun to listen to. Yeah.
Corey Provost was another partner who now is the voice of the Twins. And again, has had had some emotional stories that he told, remembering Bob. One of the things I learned in the tribute was he was the only person with the Brewers in any way, shape, or form who parked inside the stadium. He had a spot inside for his Corvette.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
everybody else kind of had to walk in from the lot, but he was right there, and then he'd head right into the locker room because he had a locker. That was at his insistence. He had a locker room right there by the door. So first locker was for Ueck, so that
That's
he
great.
could talk to the players. It just
Well, Gordy was talking about the fact that you could check out Bob Uecker anytime with Johnny Carson.
Oh my gosh,
YouTube.
Just
they're
go to those
so
YouTube
good.
clips.
They're-
It's hilarious.
I of course I watched a lot of Johnny Carson growing up, and I always loved when to me he was just because I didn't grow up in Wisconsin proper, so he was just this funny guy. Whenever he was a regular, you always look forward to this guy because and it wasn't. Yes, they were stories, but it was more the almost Jack Benny like deadpan
Yes.
retorts to what Johnny was saying that were
Yeah.
so good.
Self-effacing humor.
Yes, and we're very fortunate that we can look those up on YouTube now.
Didn't he have like plaid jackets? That
He had all the wild sports coats. Yeah.
You know what? And that reminds me, I really want to tip my cap to the folks at FanDuel Sports Network, because first I noticed it on Sophia Minert, who is just an amazing reporter. And she had this sleeveless denim dress on. And you could tell while it was denim, it had like this blue plaid in it to kind of like be a nod to Euchre's suits. Well, then they show the guys up in the booth, BA and Rock, and they too are in these kind of, so you can tell they were, I don't know who designed them or what, but they also had these blue suits with just a subtle plaid to it, that it was obviously a one-time only thing, but I noticed it, and I'm sure other people did too. That was a great little tribute for a guy who, a little bit of the 70s will always live with us through Bob Uecker's wardrobe,
Well, and all those great Miller Lite commercials too. That
gosh,
it's just, you treasure those, to look back at them.
Yeah, and I remember one of the stories that got told yesterday was he was very nervous. He did not want to do that because the team at the time had a contract with Pabst and with Schlitz for advertising. We sometimes forget Miller was like number 3 in Milwaukee, for back in the days when Schlitz and Pabst were the kings. Not the king of beers. That's somebody else. And we're not going to worry about that. John and Gordy, you can catch them on our Madison station, WMDX, weekdays from 6 to 8. Guys, always appreciate the Monday visits. Hope you have a great start to the week.
Yeah, we're filling in tonight on Nightlight for Pete Schwab tonight and tomorrow night. So if you want to listen to us, tune in.
6 o'clock. Tune on in. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
When we come back, we're going to talk to State Representative Francesca Hong about next year and the direction that she hopes Wisconsin voters take our state in. That's coming up. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. There we go. Thanks, guys.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Pat.
See you guys.
See you.
Good seats, huh? You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on. Oh, I must be in the front row. Come on.
There's Fran now. How are you?
Good morning.
How's it going? How was your weekend?
Weekend was okay. Busy. Did a little travel. And then got to hang out with the kiddo yesterday.
Oh, nice. Okay. And you've been on the road.
Yeah, it's been great. This is that time of year where they don't mind if a Madison rep comes up and
they never mind if somebody's helping with fundraising or door knocking or any of those things. So no, that's good. It's and as you know, I've complained about this before. You are a breath of fresh air compared to some Madison and Milwaukee reps and senators who, God forbid, they leave the zip code. I don't know if anybody has that reputation now. I'm going back 10 years, but it would get a little frustrating. So
I think we're starting to see a shift, and I know that especially the Democratic Socialist Caucus and some of the newer members, we love traveling the state.
Yes, no, that's awesome. Okay, so we had Jon Shelton on last hour talking about that letter that he and Chris Larson put out.
Okay.
Is that something that are you either a co-signer or on board with that, or
I
where?
am a co-signer.
Okay, excellent. So, so we can in part continue that conversation about what we're looking for, for next year for a governor
Okay.
and for everything else. But was there anything related to that? Any particular topic, direction, office issue that you wanted to make sure that we hit?
Pat, it is an Ask Me Anything morning. You got me on a good
I-
Monday. So, well, maybe
Okay.
not everything, but um,
I do.
I'm always happy to chat with you.
Okay, I do want to ask from a chef perspective.
Mhm.
Are you doing anything with your chefing skills these days?
I am. I've got two fantastic dinners coming up that I'll be a guest chef at. And I've got a couple of folks who are getting ready to launch their restaurant in the next year. So we'll be helping to make sure that they have an extra cleaner, dishwasher, prep person.
That's great. Okay,
Mhm.
I didn't want to miss if you were working at a particular place. I didn't want to miss plugging that if that was the case. So this is more of a guest chef situation that you're doing these days.
Yeah. The second job right now is I'm still bartending at the Gamma Ray Bar.
Oh,
So,
okay, sounds good.
yeah.
All right, we got 1 minute. I'll tuck you in the
Cool.
waiting room and come get you in a bit. All righty. Remember, you can sign up for our Unabashedly Wisconsin news through our newsletters, a weekday version and a Sunday morning version that I put out on political matters, mostly Wisconsin, but some national as well. Sign up over at upnorthnewswi.com. The question of the week in our Sunday morning newsletter this time around: should Wisconsin keep or get rid of mail-in voting? And I just wanted to get a feel for how many folks agree with President Donald Trump, who said that Vladimir Putin told him that with mail-in voting, you can't have a fair election. And so Trump wants to get rid of it, I guess. And how do you feel about it? Now, there are a couple of folks that are not big fans of early in-person voting or of drop boxes. But what about mail-in voting? Is it too open? In the olden days, you had to have like a doctor's note to be able to vote by mail. Where are you on it these days? We're getting a lot of responses in and want yours as well. Radio at upnorthnewswi.com is the email address, but you'll get that question first off the bat if you sign up for our Sunday morning newsletter, where we talk about what's happening in the political world, what's happening with your legislator, what's happening with our elections. And to help us continue that conversation on this Movement Monday, we've got State Representative Francesca Hong here from Madison. Fran, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Pat. I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. I started off the show by saying you can sometimes gauge what a candidate is up to by their social media feed. But if you really want to know what they're up to, check their odometer. And it's clear that you've put some miles on since the state budget was passed, and we're in a lull between sessions here right now. And as I've told you from my time as a legislator, we're going back 15 years here now, but there were definitely legislators that did not leave their zip code by and large. But it's been refreshing to see how many legislators are willing to go across the state to try to help win back seats that they don't currently hold, or just to talk to other events as well. So it certainly looks like you have had a very busy summer that way.
Yes, I think it's really important for legislators across the state, regardless of zip code, to be talking to Wisconsinites that aren't in their district. And I think what I found, and other legislators will tell you the same, is that we're hearing a lot about the same issues, especially when it comes to public education. I was in Adams a couple weeks ago and met a special education educator who was just really disappointed about this budget process and talked to me about special education reimbursement. The same thing when I was up in Eau Claire a couple of weeks ago as well. So regardless of zip code, public education is on folks' mind. And I know that it is an issue that unites communities. And we know when public education is strong, I definitely know in my heart that the community is strong.
Along with those travels, of course, we've got campaign-related events that are going on as well. We saw Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders was in Wisconsin over the weekend campaigning for Becca Cook, one of 3 Democrats running in the 3rd Congressional District. You have Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, who's announced for the governor's race. Milwaukee County Executive David Crawley says he's going to announce at some point. We have 2 Republicans in the race so far. I rather thought that we might actually see kind of a wave of candidates for governor early on. And I don't think that's materialized yet. And now I'm starting to wonder, will the field, be as large as it was in 2018 or not? And again, it's just complete speculation on my part, but with a wide open governor's race, how do you think that the Democratic field is going to look, and what do you want to see in that field?
Well, I think primaries, crowded primaries are very democratic. I'm hoping that there will be a candidate who will be bold, who, regardless of zip code, is exciting a crowd, but also deeply understanding of the issues and is presenting solutions, making sure folks understand how important it is to reimagine, that we have to have a sense of reclaiming what was rightfully ours in terms of progressive values, where that started here, championing conservation. And so I'm hoping that there will be a candidate who not only is progressive in terms of legislation, but understands how important it is to unite communities around the state on issues that they care about, like public education. I know legalizing marijuana is always top of mind for some folks, and I think it's really important to talk about how people can save money and have the state take on some of the costs when it comes to school meals. I know that universal school meals as well is one thing that we're really going to have to keep an eye on and push for as we're seeing this Trump regime gut snap and other programs that keep our children healthy as well as takes care of our elders.
Fran Hong is a state representative from the Madison area, and you're also a co-signer of the letter that was put out that we talked to just last hour with Jon Shelton, the president of AFT-Wisconsin, and State Senator Chris Larson as well, which really called for the next Democratic nominee for governor to have a real focus on workers and especially union labor as a part of the workforce. Do you want to say other things about why you chose to co-sign that statement and what it says about those qualities we want to see in a governor next year?
One of the goals that I have, and something that I hope more and more Wisconsinites understand, is that government can be a force of good. And I'm excited when we have the Democratic trifecta in the legislature to just show how bold, progressive, and transformative legislation can be to deliver and change people's lives quickly. And so in terms of ensuring that reducing the prison population, closing Green Bay Correctional Institute, ensuring that our public schools are adequately funded, that we expand the rights and salaries of educators and make sure all students have their needs met. I think it's incredibly important that folks understand that it is the state government that can really make a difference in their lives, much more for the better, that better is possible. And I think that letter, the reason it was important for me to support it is because it allows folks to really take into heart and think about what is possible and what can government do to actually strengthen our communities, give us more opportunities, and really give us the opportunity to take care of ourselves and our loved ones.
When you get to these issues, you mentioned already the disconnect that there is in the current Republican legislative majority. And last week we had Matt Rothschild and Marisa Strano on from New America talking about the push for more citizen-led ballot initiatives, something that we can't do in Wisconsin right now. And when New America looked at all the states and said which ones would be of the 26 states or so that don't have ballot initiatives, which one would be most ripe to adopt that, they pointed to Wisconsin because of not just the partisan divide, but also the divide between who's running the legislature versus the public's issues. I feel like in every Marquette poll, we see public support for all these issues, and yet it's a Republican legislature that is essentially ignoring the will of the voters. I'm sure that that's lots of fodder for what Democrats are going to be talking about next year.
I think we have had a majority party Republicans who are more interested in serving their billionaire donors, maintaining, and I would say hoarding power, and they've ignored the will of the people and oftentimes the law of the land. And so it's, I think, the ballot initiatives are a way to maintain democracy and ensure that we are protecting everyone's freedom, especially their economic security. Because when you have lawmakers who are prioritizing the issues and what their billionaire donors are telling them, especially when it comes to tax fairness and economic security and how folks are taking care of themselves, it really is a detriment to democracy. It's a detriment to democracy. And a lot of folks, especially those in smaller communities, their voices get smaller and smaller. And we know that we especially need the folks in smaller communities to be louder about the issues they face, especially when they're so similar to the ones that suburban and urban communities are facing as well.
State Representative Francesca Hong is our guest here, Democrat from Madison. And now that we've talked all about, the potential out there for, what we look for in candidates in the coming year, Tony puts a comment up on YouTube, and I think he's getting frustrated with me here. He says, "What's happening with Fran?" Well, I was just setting the table here, Tony. Don't worry, I'm going to get to it. Fran, what are your plans for next year?
Right now, I am laser focused on ensuring that we have a Democratic trifecta, a bold, progressive, and exciting Democratic governor, and a legislature that has a Senate and Senate and Assembly trifecta. I'm sorry, the Senate and Assembly have majority Democrats. And again, this is about ensuring that we are delivering for Wisconsinites. And so I hope that other folks are ensuring that the Assembly in particular has strong candidates and that we are investing in those candidates to make sure that we can take back the 5 seats that we need for a majority in the Assembly.
Could you conceivably see yourself as one of those candidates for governor or for one of these other posts that appear to be opening up as other people jump into various races?
I think right now it's about ensuring folks know what the legislature and government has the ability to do in our state, whether it's those ballot initiatives or ensuring that folks across different communities have their needs met, especially when it comes to long-term care and elder care, as well as care for those with disabilities. The care economy is something that all candidates and should be talking about. And I think it's important that, especially what's going on with privatization of nursing homes, what's going on with our disinvestment in childcare and public K-12 public education, that we work towards a more caring Wisconsin and let folks know that better is possible when we have a legislature that is bold, progressive, and willing to ensure that folks, regardless of zip code, have the ability to care for themselves and their loved ones.
And so I'm quite certain, going to still be on the road. You've been at several events already, and it's a theme that we hit again last hour with Jon Shelton of, what can people do right now? And that certainly would include either attending or organizing events where a legislator like yourself might hit the road and show up.
I'm so glad you talk about, you mentioned organizing, Pat. Community organizing right now, especially when it comes to developing groups that are going to commit to mutual aid, making sure folks have strong neighborhood associations where people understand what some of their neighbors' needs are. I think, gatherings and making sure folks have are thinking about how important block parties are right now. All of this is resistance, and community organizing is one of the ways, especially at a hyper-local level, that we can continue to grow power and push back against the fascist regime that is coming down from Washington, as well as the hoarding of power and harming of our communities that's been done by Robin Vos and a Republican-led legislature.
State Representative Francesca Hong from Madison spending some time with us. Fran, it's always so great to catch up. And I know you've got other events coming up. You're being a guest chef at places. And so thanks for making a little time at home to visit with us today.
Pat, always love spending time with y'all here at Up North News. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. And on this Movement Monday, we should also tell you that there are things on the calendar that you can choose to be a part of. AFT-Wisconsin, for example, has a Fighting Back event with Randy Weingarten, president of AFT. The national president is going to be in Eau Claire at the public library coming up this Wednesday afternoon. We'll visit with Jane Matenaer coming up, and a few final news and notes items from Lake Wissota after this on the Civic Media Radio Network. And then there's Jane. Oh, wait, I got to put the other one up. There we go. And then there's Jane. Hello.
And audio, and I can hear things, and
I know
in my ears, and
Yes.
and it like in an audio format. It's such a wonderful thing to have audio.
Makes us so happy.
So excited.
Oh, that's great.
Pat, I'm going to be off tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm off tomorrow, and then I'm gone for 3.5 weeks.
Ooh, okay.
So I don't know if you and Greg want to work out somebody for this slot while I'm gone, or
I do want Greg to be on the slot while you're gone, but I also know Greg has a lot to do to prep for a show, so I'll let him know. It would be great to have him, but it's not mandatory by any stretch.
And if you don't mind, Pat, I prefer not to get into specifics about where we're going.
Oh, no.
I don't like to announce that our house is going to be empty for 3.5 weeks.
Yes.
Come rob me.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm always very careful about that as
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. What'd you do over the weekend?
I weeded.
I hope they legalize this stuff real soon so that you don't have to just make it sound like you were gardening. But
Jeez, Pat, and I don't know, I know seeds fly through the air and stuff, but we have this section that's on our alley, and we've only got about 2 feet of ground there, but I weeded it a month and a half ago. It's a type of nightshade. That crap is 4.5 feet tall. I needed a flamethrower and a scythe. It was nuts. It was just nuts.
Oh,
and it's like, I don't even know where you came from.
it's kind of like me and Buckthorn, it's just the work never ends.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
They do sell weed flamethrowers, though. We talked about it last week. Yeah.
No, goats. You got to get a goat.
Well, that's too tempting. I'll do something bad.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. All right. We'll get going in 60 seconds here.
Okay.
Jane Matenaer coming up in just a sec. First, tomorrow's guests include Dan Schaefer, political editor for Civic Media, founder of the Recombobulation Area. We'll talk to Hans Breitenmoser and Sheila Everhart of the Wisconsin Agricultural Tourism Association, Dan Hagan from Newswatch 12, WJFW TV in Rhinelander, and much more tomorrow here on these mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News on the Civic Media Radio Network. You can also sign up for our daily newsletter at Up North News. Just head to upnorthnewswi.com. Click subscribe in the banner on top of the homepage. One of the stories today talks about Wisconsin Dells being known as the water park capital of the world, but there's a different attraction making waves. See what we did there? It's a 5-acre lake that uses rocks and plants and fish and bacteria to clean itself naturally, totally free of chemicals. A very unusual water attraction at Wisconsin Dells. You can read more about it in our newsletter there. All right, let's touch base with Jane Matenaer, who hosts the lovely program after this. I mean, we're like the thorn that gives way to the rose at 9 o'clock
please.
From 9 to 11, with the ever fragrant Greg Bach joining Jane as well. Jane, good morning. How are you?
I am great, Mr. Kreitlow. Monday. It is, and I heard you because I always listen to you when I'm driving in the morning, and it was chilly in Lake Wissota this morning.
Oh my! It's still. I mean, well, no, actually, it's 54 now. Okay, so we're not in the upper 30s anymore, like Hayward and other places were, but and then of course it's Monday, like you said, the brain wasn't fully engaged, and poor Parker was so confused as I kept talking about this Polar Express when I meant to say Polar Vortex, and
I think he was testing me.
I
Just
don't
to
know.
see if you're paying attention, Parker. You know, make sure you're not wandering off somewhere.
Again, there's only so much coffee on board at that point. So I knew what I was talking about. All that big cold air from Canada that sneaks down here every so often. Comes across the border. We need a wall.
This is my weather. Today is going to be such a beautiful day. Again, we're in southeastern Wisconsin, so we're probably 20 degrees warmer than you are. But even this morning, when I was coming in, it was only 62. So if it's just nice to open up the windows and get some fresh air through the house again.
I get it. I just I don't want it to be. I don't want summer to end just yet. You know?
It's not. We're going to have. There's 80-degree temperatures in our future. We can have beautiful Septembers, beautiful Octobers.
Yes. Yeah.
So
we can. And again, it just makes me appreciate seasons. When I spent those 3 years living on Grand Cayman, you know, you think, oh, life's a beach. You go to the beach every day, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's got its pluses, don't get me wrong. But you do miss seasons and you come back here. And I recall one of my first visits back, we'd been on Grand Cayman for about 4 months or so. And we came back and it was, October, and it was one of the mornings just like this. And when you've been in triple digit heat indexes, for weeks at a time.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Does this feel glorious? This is
just
amazing.
Yeah. Just the colors. A friend and I are planning to go to Prairie du Chien at the beginning of October. And we're going to do a little trip up the Mississippi River. And just the colors we have in Wisconsin. Wisconsin's so beautiful.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, you've got the Great River Road going up and down the Mississippi. So many lovely attractions to see there as well. If you go out, if you get out, some people stay home all weekend and do things like, weeding with the exciting life that you lead, Jane. I mean, couldn't you get a goat to do that?
I'm afraid it would kill the goat. There were so many, and maybe, I don't know if I'm the only one, but things show up in my garden. It's like, how did you get here? I know I didn't plant you. I know, squirrels will move things and seeds fly through the air and all this stuff. But I weeded along our alley path over the weekend, and we had this form of nightshade show up out of nowhere. Pat, that stuff was 4.5 feet tall.
Oh my!
I needed a shield and a sword and a flamethrower and a sickle to attack that. It took me at least 2 hours, and then I was in pain through yesterday.
Is it? I mean, are we just talking like digging them up, or are we
digging them up?
Okay,
digging them
We're
up.
not like squirting them with things that are going to make you glow in the dark.
They were this big.
Okay, you can't squirt those.
You can't squirt those. It's just going to look at you and laugh.
Well, okay. Which again takes me back to the goat. So, I mean, it is an option.
Get a goat.
Or can you pay a kid a quarter or something like that?
We talked about this a little bit on the show, and a gentleman shared that they make weed flamethrowers.
Weed flamethrower. Oh, that doesn't sound even a little dangerous.
I know. What could go wrong with the weed flamethrower and the wooden fence?
Burning your house down,
Yeah, I think
things like that.
As tempting as that is, I think I may have to keep myself away from the flamethrower.
Okay.
Rats.
What have you got coming up on the show today?
We are going to talk to Civic Media News Director Shelly Pittman is going to join us. THC in Wisconsin is everywhere, and yet how much is it regulated? So that's an ongoing discussion. We'll talk to Shelly coming up after the 9:30 news. In hour number 2, the Wisconsin Policy Forum looked at apprenticeships in Wisconsin, which are on the rise and growing. So we're going to learn about that. Audio sorbet today. We were kicking this around before we went on the air. Today's audio sorbet is going to be a food gripe, and this is cracker edition. We got into an argument about the best cracker, Pat.
Oh, actually, yes, I could see that happening.
Wheat Thins,
yep.
Triscuits, Ritz
Yep.
crackers.
Yep.
Very passionate opinions. Who knew?
All right.
About crackers. So our audio sorbet after the 10:30 news.
Crackers to cleanse the palate.
Cracker edition.
Love it.
It's coming up, yes.
Thank you, Jane. Have a great day.
Appreciate it. Good to
All
see
right.
you, Pat.
Good to see you as well.
Bye, Parker.
And yeah, Parker, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks to Parker and to Brittany Merlot and to Jon Shelton and to Francesca Hong, Kristen Lyerly, Selena Heller, Jimmie Kaska, John and Gordy. Goodness, we had a busy one today. And we're just going to do it all over again tomorrow and hope that you come along for the ride. I'm Pat Kreitlow, founding editor of Up North News. Up North News is the digital outlet for Courier, a pro-democracy news network, building a more informed, engaged, and representative America. Follow us on social media or sign up for our newsletters. Head to the website, upnorthnewswi.com. Enjoy your Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., bright and early, here up north. Okie dokie, artichoke.
Okie dokie.
All right, live streamers, we're going to set you free. There's that.